Hey, Pardon My Take listeners, you can find every episode on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music. On today's Pardon My Take, we have an unbelievable interview, something very different for the people. Brian Cox, astrophysicist, rock star, incredible conversation in studio, talking about stars, the galaxy, black holes, everything. You're not going to want to miss it. We're also going to talk a ton of NBA, NHL playoffs, a lot of action on Thursday night. We got some game sevens to look forward to, and the NFL schedule has finally been released. So we break that down, as well as Bucks Celtics from Wednesday night and a bunch of other things. Great Friday show to send you into the weekend for some game sevens. And we're brought to you by our friends at Visible. When it comes to saving on wireless, Visible wins every time. Other wireless carriers hit you with costly monthly bills, tricky extra fees, and unwanted add-ons. The competition doesn't stand a chance. The choice is obvious. Visible. You can shell out $60 or more a month with other mobile carriers, or pay as little as $25 a month for single-line wireless with Visible. You can get cornered into a family plan by the other guys to try and save, or save solo on a single line with Visible. You can pay extra fees every month on another mobile plan, or you can pay no extra fees with Visible. Switch to Visible at visible.com/pod and get unlimited single line wireless for as low as $25 a month. Comparison to single line with unlimited data and other major carriers for plan and network details, see visible.com/pod. Check it out, visible.com/pod. Get yourself the best wireless service in the world. Thank you to Visible for being our presenting sponsor. Okay, let's go.
It's Pardon My Take, presented by Barstool Sports.
Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by Visible. Go to visible.com/pod right now to get the best wireless for as low as $25 a month. Today is Friday, May 13th, and the Philadelphia 76ers are dead. D-E-A-D, dead. James Harden had 2 shots in the second half tonight, the same amount of shots that Ben Simmons had in the closeout game against the Atlanta Hawks. They're dead.
That's tough. I didn't know that stat. I was just going to say he scored the exact same amount of points in the second half of their final game as Ben Simmons did all playoffs. And I think you go back to the trade and neither team won. It was the classic lose-lose trade. Like, both teams in a weird way got a little bit worse from this trade. So you love to see that. I think Doc Rivers had the best score of the night after the game was over. He said, I came to the conclusion at the end of this game that we were not good enough to beat Miami. So for all you losers out there that love to say that Doc Rivers doesn't always talk about, he was right. Hashtag Doc was right. You weren't good enough to beat Miami.
So that's a great quote. I actually compiled a few quotes. I wanted to do a quote off for you in PFT. Okay. I want you to judge these quotes. James Harden, by the way, I'm the one sucker alive that still believes in Ben Simmons. So I'm like, Nets could still get something out of him. Crazy, stupid, irrational. So I'm not giving up on Ben Simmons. I'm the last person in the world, because I'm like, 6'10" point guards don't grow on trees, even though he's scared of playing basketball. Either way, James Harden shot 2 times in the second half. Same as Ben Simmons, which we just said, scored 0 points. Ben Simmons actually scored 1 point in that famous second half against the Hawks in the closeout because he hit a free throw. James Harden, let me just do a quiz. When do you think James Harden attempted his last 2-point field goal attempt?
I'm going to say 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
That would be great. His last 2-point field goal attempt was with 8 minutes, 54 seconds left in the first quarter.
Oh, 2-point field goal. Got it.
2-point field goal attempt. He just stopped trying for anything but standing around and shooting threes. And even this is going to hurt Sixers fans. This is a trigger warning. They knew it, though. I think Sixers fans actually are the one fan base they want to just relish in the pain because they hate where this team is at right now. Ben Simmons had a better closeout game against the Hawks than James Harden did. Against
At least he drove to the hole.
He
didn't dunk it, but at least he got it within the vicinity of the basket.
I forgot he had 13 assists in that game and 8 rebounds. So, like, say what you want, but he was at least moving around a little bit.
Big Cat, I think you're unfairly targeting James Harden for only attempting his last field goal with 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
It was his last. No. It was his last 2-point field goal attempt with 8:54 left in the first quarter. So that means he basically just stood around the 3-point line for the rest of the night.
I think you're unfairly targeting because he had a good explanation for that after the game. In his post-game press conference, he said, "The ball just didn't get back to me."
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
And then when asked if Doc Rivers didn't call plays for him, he just said, "Next question." So I have some quotes. I want you guys, Hank, I want you to chime in as well because you hate Philadelphia. I love the city of Philadelphia. I love Sixers fans. I think they want to hear this because I think they want to relish in just how bad this has gotten. But you guys judge which quote is worse. I'm going to give you 3 quotes, okay? First quote is from James Harden. He said, actually, no, I'm going to go first quote is from Joel Embiid. He said, "I still don't know how we let him go. I wish I could go into battle with him still." That's Joel Embiid talking about Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, good quote.
Bad. That hurts. That hurts.
Good quote, though, because I feel like all of Philadelphia and Jimmy Butler said he wished that he never left after the game. I actually think like Sixers fans are like, yes, you are the exact guy. It was like the timing didn't add up in terms of how much they could pay him at that moment. They made a bad decision to pay other guys and not him. But I feel like he would have been the perfect 76ers guy. Like he's perfect for the city of Philadelphia. The city of Philadelphia is perfect for him in a weird, sick, perverted way. They're kind of rooting for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. And it's just brutal to have your franchise player who could have been the MVP and Joel Embiid, who he looked gassed tonight. I'm going to give him a pass for the fact that he was playing with like a half broken body. Whether that's fair or not, like he didn't have a great game, but he literally is a broken man. Having him though look around the locker room and be like, that guy who just beat us, who just like stomped us out at our home court in a closeout game, I really wish I had him on my team still.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's true. It sucks to hear, but it's the truth.
It's the truth.
That's what I like about Joel Embiid though, is he'll say stuff like that because he knows that he's right.
Yeah. All right. Quote 2. This one comes from Doc Rivers when talked about his job. He said, "When I first got here, no one picked us to be anywhere." So just as a history lesson, Doc Rivers got there. He's been there for 2 years. So going back 5 years, in 2018, the 76ers lost in 5 games in the conference semifinals. In 2019, they lost in 7 games in the conference semifinals, the famous Kawhi shot against the Raptors. In the bubble, they got swept in the first round. Doc got there. They lost in 7 in the conference semifinals last year. They lost in 6 in the conference semifinals this year. They've literally just gone. It was like they've been just doing the same thing year after year after year. Doc Rivers has had no impact on it. They were on the exact same trajectory. And he's like, "We were a mess when I got here, but I fixed it all to get us right back to where we were."
No, this is a marked improvement for Doc Rivers because there was no washout, at least. There was no big choke job this play. It was just kind of like the same miserable bad vibes. We talked about bad vibes with like, I think that was Kurt Goldsberry gave us Chris Paul as #1 bad vibes guy. I sat down, I made an all bad vibes team tonight at dinner. You want to guess who's on it? So Chris Paul's the 1.
Mm-hmm.
Harden's the 2.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron is the
Are you gonna throw Simmons in there as like a center? Yeah, you could have him as center.
He's on the bench.
Okay.
He's the bad vibes guy that's on the bench wearing a funny outfit. 3 is Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3/4 Paul George and LeBron. They interchange. And then Dwight Howard at the 5. And it's funny because if you look at that starting 5 of all bad vibes teams of guys that are just like trash in clutch situations, if you gave me the starting 5, I would still be like, yeah, that team's gonna be.
They win everything.
It's gonna be a championship.
Yeah, they'd win everything. So the 76ers are their playoff performances in the last 5 years are almost an anagram. If they had lost in 5 in this season, it would have been literally the perfect, like, lost in 5 in the conference semifinals, lost in 7, 4-game sweep, lost in 7, lost in 5. So Doc Rivers, he's done a lot.
Palindrome.
And they have palindrome. That's right. It's late and I can't talk. Last quote. And I think this is the worst quote for Sixers fans. It's a simple quote. It's just James Harden, when asked if he'll opt into his contract, he said, "I'll be here."
What is that? Like, 47, I'll be addressing the media.
$47.366 million next year.
That's crazy. That's awesome. God bless America. James Harden has it figured out. Seriously, like, you show flash of promise, you get paid like a motherfucker, and then you don't get paid that much in the playoffs, right?
Look at his face.
The guys at the end of the bench get paid the same as the stars in the playoffs, right? He's like, I'm not getting paid enough to show up for the playoffs. Fuck this. I'm going to take some shots at halftime, maybe rip a zigzag and come out and not play basketball in the second half unless you pay me more.
Oh, look at Hank's face. He's in shock. $47.366 million. Opt in. I would say he's probably going to opt in. I'd say he probably won't walk away from that money. The only thing that he might do is he might do an extension. No. I think the Sixers' only choice, as crazy as it sounds, their only choice is to extend him and, like, move some of the money around. Like, he's going to opt in.
What if What if he goes back to his old tricks and he just shows up? He just eats his way through the summer, shows up fat, demands another trade.
But it's like, but he gets to, like, it's his choice of whether he wants the $47.366 million. It's not the Sixers' choice.
Yeah, but can't the NBA? The contracts are so fake but like for the players, not like the NFL. Like, can't you opt in and then get fat as fuck and then demand a trade and still get paid? I think that would still work.
Yes, of course. But I honestly think the Sixers might consider being like, don't opt in. We'll sign you an extension that will be more than 47.366, but it won't be 47.366 for 1 year.
Yeah. All I know is I need there to be a way for James Harden to make his way to the Lakers. I need LeBron and Harden to team up together.
It's shocking. I know we were looking forward to this day. It's almost getting to a point where it's like perverse to watch him do this. And of course the Sixers are a team. Like, Danny Green gets hurt. Joel Embiid's been fucking ravaged by injury. The Heat deserve all the credit, because I do think there's something to be said, looking at you, Suns, of going on the road, game 6, being like, let's not let this go to 7. Let's finish this right now. We're clearly better. The Heat deserve a lot of credit, but man, what a disaster. In the process, the process has gotten to a point where you have one of the top 3 best players in the league, and then James Harden for $47 million.
Yeah, I think Nick Saban's full of shit. I think the process is overrated. We're results guys on this podcast, right?
It's so bad.
I don't care about the process. As I'm Machiavellian. Just give me the result. I don't care how we get there.
Shout out our guy, the Cuz, Anthony Gargano, who hosts radio in Philly, who's been on this show. It's clear that he's, like, newer to Twitter, and he said, I see it talked about a lot, and yes, I am just tweeting through it. So I appreciated him doing that, just admitting, like, I'm just tweeting through this shit because it's bad.
I mean, if we were to do like a pool of guys that we think would probably either get hacked or somehow, some way, like, tweet out a porn link over the next year, I feel like the Cuz is pretty high up on that list.
And when he needs PR 101, we'll have him back on the show. We actually,
absolutely,
it's unfortunate because we did want to have him on if the Sixers got to the conference finals. I think we got to have him on anyway. We just got to have him on.
Have him on, but I want him, like, unfiltered. I want I want the stuff that he thinks is, like, unsafe to say on Philadelphia radio. I want the raw, uncut, pure flake coming out of the Cuz's mouth.
Yeah. I mean, it's a debacle. And on the flip side, I'm now respecting the Heat. Heat culture is real. If you don't think Heat culture is real, just watch what Max Strus has been doing, because the dude is an undrafted kid who went to DePaul his senior year, who the Bulls had for, I think, a year or two. He got hurt, So he's undrafted. He got hurt. He played 2 games for the Bulls. He got hurt. The Heat pick him up. And then in a game 6 elimination on the road, he drops 20, 11, and 5. That's Heat culture.
Max Strus is awesome.
That's Heat culture, though.
I started noticing him only 2 weeks ago, I think, because he was getting an unusual amount of playing time. Probably the Kyle Lowry thing had his minutes increase a lot. The dude is just legitimately good.
But that's
Plus
what they
his
do.
name's Max. Yeah, Max is such a cool name.
Yeah, the Maxes are hot right now, and that's what what the Heat do. They are like a franchise that obviously they have really good players. Like Bam is incredible, Jimmy's incredible. They got a lot of really good players, but they also find a way to get guys who can contribute and play in a system and are well coached. It's Heat culture. Jake. I don't know if they'll beat the Bucks or the Celtics, but I'm not gonna look past them at all. Anyone who says they can't beat those teams is crazy. They've proven it. They are Heat culture works in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm just glad they made the cut to be talked about on this show. But it's progress. It's progress.
It is crazy to think.
Jake gets right there.
It is crazy to think, though. Obviously, LeBron years, but if the Heat somehow could win a championship this year, let's just say it. It's not that crazy. They're in the conference finals. That would be 4 titles over the course of 20 years, less than 20 years, with all 3 completely different rosters. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the sign of what a really, really good franchise is.
And 3 in a decade.
Yeah, 3 in a decade. So.
Got another quote here from Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm sure since we got him, everybody expected the Houston James Harden, but that's not who he is anymore. He's more of a playmaker, I thought at times, as with all of us, who could have been more aggressive. That's just Joel, and you can't say shit to him because he's right. That's the thing. Right. The truth will set you free. Joel, the truth will set you free. No one's gonna be mad at Joel Embiid for telling it like it is right now. Because James Harden I might be actually flipping on James Harden. I like James Harden now.
Yes.
I don't it's fun to talk about the choke jobs in the playoffs and him just not showing up. But now it's just James Harden, I think, is just, he's got it all figured out, man.
Do you know what it is?
He's rich as fuck, and he doesn't even have to show up for work. He can just get fat all the time and not work. That's the American dream.
You know what it is? I think it's because it happens every year. It's can you cancel someone multiple times, over and over? Eventually everyone's going to put down their pitchforks and be well, this is kind of tiring. James Harden, every year, the internet's let's rally and get him. And yeah, it was fun. And I tweeted a picture of him just looking so tired and just beat to hell. But there's a small part of me that's this guy, no matter what, we always end up right back here.
It's the story of the scorpion and the frog, where that he's a scorpion. So the frog's taking him across the river, and then the frog, it sinks actually this time. And it's what's up with that? And the scorpion's sorry, I gained 70 pounds. I'm James Harden. You should know.
Yeah. And I got out of breath and I didn't really want to shoot it. You know what the craziest part is? He played the entire third quarter. I think he played 21 minutes in the second half.
Again,
so it wasn't he wasn't playing.
You can't help but respect that. You know who he is. There's enough body of evidence out there right now to know exactly who James Harden is. Hank is still amazed at how much money he's making.
47.36.
That combined with Billy's just been having an absolute feast over here. I'm just impressed with how much he's been eating.
And
Billy,
it's great too because
my game ball.
Yeah.
Tomas Nosek, he had 2 points and was instrumental in the Bruins win.
Nice. The best part is Billy's just eating, and he also no matter what the plans we ever do on this podcast, we had a very set plan. He's always the first to text being what's the plan? We literally said when I was walking out of the studio today, you go, what's the plan? I was let's wait till the second half. And then if it's out of hand, we'll hop on right around the start of the fourth quarter. It was halftime, and you're what's the plan?
Well, I'm just trying to stay on top of things, business first, of course. But I got hungry.
It is eating hour. All right. So that game, Sixers, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say other than they got problems. They got big time problems. I don't know if Doc Rivers, I mean, he did. No one expected anything out of him when he got there.
listen, if you look at the trajectory, it improved over last year in a way. Kind of.
Actually, no. No.
You don't think right
one
now
game less?
Where the team is at right now? Do you think
one game less?
I feel like the vibes are like slightly higher than they were last year when they got eliminated.
They're slightly higher, but they're still really bad.
Yeah.
They're still negative vibes. They're just not super negative vibes.
Right. Yeah. They're less low.
But even actually, I don't know. Maybe not, because the Ben Simmons part of it, Philly fans going out of last year could have told themselves, well, at least we can do something about Ben Simmons. James Harden can opt in for $47.366 million. Anyway,
it's almost like a reverse hostage situation where like James Harden he's holding himself hostage. It's John Q. He's holding himself hostage on the Sixers unless they do something about it, give him that big contract extension like you talked about, and then try to move him somewhere else. So the only reason I say that the vibes might be like a little less low than they were at this point last year is because Embiid played so fucking well this season.
Yeah, no,
and he's going to come back. You know that his ceiling is like so high right now, and that you can win a championship with him if you get him the right piece.
Yeah, no, that part you're absolutely right. Like, you know, people be like, dude, what are you talking about? You're a Bulls fan. Of course, I'd rather have Joel Embiid than pretty much anyone in the NBA at this point. So you're right. You do have a piece that is whatever you want to say, 1, 2, or 3 best pull, like Giannis, Joel, like whatever you want to rank them. We're not going to rank them, but yeah, you're right. Like you have a piece that is better than almost every other team in the NBA, but fuck, 47.366. That's so bad. All right. Suns game just went final. Mavs forced game 7. Chris Paul opted out of this game. And that's all I got. They just killed them. Like that was never close.
Yeah, I fully expected the Suns to win this game too. I thought that they were going to run away with it. I don't know what's going on. I saw that you texted the group chat that Russillo's already hedging against Chris Paul, saying that he's hurt. Should we get on board that? Should we say?
No, he didn't say he was hurt. He said something is off. And I replied, yeah, we're a month into the NBA playoffs. This is right when Chris Paul, something is off. But yeah, something is off. He said, I did expect the Mavs to win. Now, before the game or before we hopped on, Hank, you said the Suns are definitely going to win game 7.
Yeah, 100%.
So I tend to agree, but now the Suns are in a spot where they're playing against Luka in a game 7 where he can easily be the best player on the court. Like that's so dangerous to be in a game 7 where if Luka is like, I'm going to not miss tonight, he could easily do that and steal this series.
So what's weird about this game 7 is I think for the Mavs, it's going to be like a real big turning point for their franchise if they win or if they lose this one particular game, because it feels way different if the Mavs get bounced in the second round. They've got Luka, who's a great player, but you almost have to admit at that point, like you need to find a piece to fit around Luka to take it to the next step. And it's going to be tough to find like a real good complementary player for a player like Luka because just of his style. Like it's tough to find somebody that'll fit in nicely with him and take it to the next level. Now, if they just happen to win the next game, then you can be like, listen, we made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals last year. Luka is good enough to do this with the team that we have around him right now to take us to the finals and maybe win one. So in a weird way, it's like this one game actually will mean a lot for the future of the Mavericks.
Yeah, I do think they're already in a little bit of not house money, but like Luke, they did the progression thing. Like Luka had never won a playoff series. They win the first playoff series. They're taking the Western Conference champs to 7. So they are like, I wouldn't say if they get bounced in 7 at Phoenix, I wouldn't say this was a disappointing run for the Mavs, but I get what you're saying. Like the course of the franchise could change, like similar to the Hawks being like, we've arrived when they go to the Western or Eastern Conference Finals last year, and they clearly hadn't.
Right. So I'll take it one step further. How's this for a take? It would actually be better for the future of the Dallas Mavericks if they lose this game.
Ooh. What?
Get on that level.
This is like, did you guys see the take? Hold on, I'm gonna find it. There's a real take Quake. That's a good take Quake. You could convince yourself of it. I get what you're saying. I don't agree.
Listen,
but
no,
I get
it's
what
stupid as fuck.
Saying, yeah,
but it's fun. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if they had gotten blown out in the second round, then I feel like Mark Cuban would kind of like have to go nuclear and try to put something good together and get like an awesome player to team up with Luka to take that next step. It would be like, all right, we need to do not a rebuild, but we need to like actually focus on getting like as much new talent around Luka as possible. Whereas if they make it to the finals and they put up like a decent showing in the Western Conference Finals, then you can go into the offseason with the mentality of our team's good enough. We just need to be together for another year.
I don't think Cuban is like that.
Yeah,
I don't think he falls under that category of owners that are just like happy with what they do, and if they're successful, then they're just not going to care. Like I feel like he cares.
Yeah, no, he does, and he wants to put the best team around it. It's one of those takes that I don't agree with, but I respect.
Yeah, thank you. That's all I need.
Yeah. This is another one. Takes. So this is another one that I saw. Is Bob Kravitz one of your Deflategate guys, Hank? He had a headline today. I didn't read it. But he might have explained it better. I don't care. I just read headlines, whatever.
The Indianapolis, that's the Indianapolis Star guy, right?
Yeah. A repeat of Jonathan Taylor's output would be bad for the Colts.
Yes. I love that.
Fucking great.
Those are the best takes in the world, though. That's what makes talking about sports fun, is to see like who can be so smart that they actually become stupid as shit.
Yeah, exactly. So Game 7, and then we got to talk a little hockey. Then let's talk some NFL, and we'll get to the rest of the show.
He's actually responsible for Deflategate, by the way. He's like he was the reporter who like first reported it, and then said he has a seed of doubt afterwards.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Disgusting.
I have something to read to you guys. It's the famous tweet. We don't have any words, and we know you don't want to hear them. We understand your anger, your frustration, your sadness, everything you're feeling. We get it. This isn't the ending we imagined, and certainly not the one we wanted. Thank you for being there the entire way. That's the Tampa Bay Lightning tweet from 2019. They're 17-0 off a playoff loss since that tweet. Mm-hmm. Insane run. I don't know if we'll ever have a run like that again. And it even includes the stupid bubble qualifying thing that they did.
Did you see the guy that's up in, what's the name of it's like Jurassic Park, but when it's for the Maple Leafs, when all of Toronto goes outside and watches on the big screen TV.
Yeah.
There was one guy, and it's tough to tell because the Lightning and the Leafs have very similar uniforms, very similar colors. And so there's a guy that's wearing a Lightning jersey, and right after they score in overtime to win, the whole place gets like super quiet. Everyone puts their head down. The guy in the Lightning jersey slowly, just calmly takes his jersey off and wraps it up so that he can walk out of there and get home safe. It's awesome. It's such a funny video. Perfect. It's a smart move too. That, like, credit to that guy for not even celebrating, for knowing his role in that environment. For my question actually is, why was he there in the first place?
Right.
If you didn't think that he was going to win in the middle of a bunch of pissed off Torontoians, but still, like, great situational awareness on his part.
The fear in the city of Toronto on Saturday morning, waking up, is going to be at an all-time high. Like, this is just everything. They haven't won a series, since 2004? It's crazy. It's crazy that they're going into a Game 7 against the defending Stanley Cup champions. I'm nervous for them. I think they're going to win, but I'm very, very nervous for them. This is, if they go down early, things could just get real ugly, real fast.
I think they're going to win too. I haven't been a Maple Leaf supporter for longer than like a month, but if there's one thing that I feel about this type of team, the Toronto Maple Leafs are engineered to win clutch playoff Game 7s. That's just in their DNA. You see them play at their arena. You see all the banners hanging up. I think some of them are even from as late as the 60s. Like, that's just what this team does. They win clutch Game 7s.
Yeah, they do.
Game of the year, Lightning. I couldn't love a team anymore. 2-time defending champs.
Game of the year?
Game of the year.
Wait, you game of the year.
Celtics,
oh, yeah, okay, all right.
Game 5, that hit. 2-time defending champions. They've been there. They've experienced it. They've played as a team. They've won championships. This is the first round. They don't have as much pressure. Toronto has they have the pressure of a city that needs a championship and an entire country that needs a championship.
But they have me.
There's no, and exactly. That's actually worse. That's like the straw that breaks the camel's back.
That's fucked up. You can't curse something that's been cursed forever.
But you can make it worse. You can like join the bandwagon.
I
don't know.
Make it
Game
better.
of the year.
Or I make it better. I like how confident you are on hockey. Like, I don't know. It's hockey. I don't fucking know.
But that's where it's not hockey, Big Cat.
It's life.
This is psychological.
Yes, I see what you're saying. All right, so Hank, your hockey team, also Game 7. You fell asleep though.
Speaking of psychological, I mean, I can only go through stats. I can only go with what I know, and that's that the 2 games they won, we were traveling, and then we were in Vegas, so I didn't see those 2 games. Tonight, I was tired watching like the beginning of the first period, fell asleep on the couch, woke up, the game was over, we won. So I can't watch Game 7. Like, I'm not going to watch Game 7. I can't. I have to just go with the stats, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what happened with you and the Patriots. You were in the concourse. I think you got to do that again. These ones weren't even intentional. These weren't even like, let's superstitiously not watch. This was just like, I was traveling and then I fell asleep. But stats are stats. I think you need to just like wake up. When is Game 7?
Saturday. 3 Game 7s on Saturday.
So you need to just not think about the game at all. Not even check the score until after the game's over.
7:00, and then
I kind of like that.
And the Lightning Maple Leafs are on 7:30, so I'll just watch that.
Yeah, I should correct that. The Oilers are up 2-1 going into the third. But there might not be 3 Game 7. I don't want to jinx them.
I had the Kings.
It could be 2. Should we talk some NFL schedule before we get to the rest of the show in studio?
Yeah, just quickly. Fuck the Wild. Terrible team. Terrible franchise. Right. Worst future ever.
I think the big news from the NFL schedule off the top is that there's an AWL in NFL scheduling department because we get the Bears Commanders Thursday night football and then Bears Patriots Monday night football in back-to-back weeks. So someone's fucking with us.
I love that. I'm so glad that Thursday night football is actually like the perfect venue for the Washington Seawards and the Bears.
It really is. And
it'd be great. We got to think of something good to do for that stream. Maybe we can go to the game. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm down. And it also is nice that they finally figured out, like someone in the NFL scheduling department from the Bears perspective said, oh, week 7 is right around when the Bears are going to be so bad no one wants to watch them because they have 3 primetime games in the first 7 weeks and then they're done. Genius.
Billy, you're raising your hand, Billy.
So I just want to talk about the Jets schedule. My prediction is either what?
No, go off.
You had your hand raised for like 20 minutes.
Well, it's either going to be low level 7-10, high level 9-8.
But you knew the
thank God you had your hand raised for that.
We knew who you were playing before tonight.
No, but it's different. I know what you're saying.
No, but like looking at the schedule.
Right.
This way you get to like incorporate where the bye weeks are. You get to see where your schedule gets weaker.
Where's the rest? I mean, for example, you know who you're playing, but you don't know. Like you're going to have an injury bug late in the season.
Right. But we don't know anything. Like we always do this. It's fun to do it.
Oh, well, this is why we're doing it.
Right. But are you saying it confidently or is this just a –
Yeah.
Like I think the Bears are going to go 17-0.
No, I'm saying realistically, hopefully 9-8, we make a playoff berth and then we get something going. I mean, we have an electric team. It might be low-key a wagon. We have a lot of players. We have a lot of electric players. We got a lot of parts, and we got a defense that's head by Salah. That's going to be good.
What's the point of your schedule that you're most worried about, Billy?
Patriots and Buffalo.
Yeah, but when is now we're doing the schedule that you just saw the opponents when you knew that you were playing them 4 times, but what?
Right, but Patriots late in the season for the playoff berth because look, Bailey Zappi might actually be a starter, and they might have a rookie quarterback that we can beat. I'm just saying.
I'm talking to a high person.
This is why we love the schedule release. And for me, you, Big Cat, Jake,
they always play the Patriots. Right? That's how it works every fucking year.
I said they're playing the Patriots and Bills no matter what.
No, think about this. Imagine if Mac Jones gets benched for Bailey. And then, like, we have a Patriots team for the first time in disarray. But, like, we haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Patriots team led by a rookie quarterback. And I literally couldn't even think of the last time.
Since last year, and then maybe you can count Garoppolo. And then, like, Tom Brady, like, 20 years ago, legitimately 20 years ago. So
I'm just saying,
not 20 years ago.
But also last year would probably be, like, they've kind of experienced it.
Right.
The most recent season.
I think there's going to be a quarterback controversy in New England that is going to actually like really tank them. I'm just saying, why'd they draft Bailey? Just saying.
Okay.
Thanks, Philly.
Okay, one thing we all need to be cognizant of on this podcast, for the exception of Hank probably, is that we are the teams that on other people's schedules today that everybody looks at and says, okay, that's a win for us.
Win. Yes,
so we're easy wins. We're all a bunch of marks over here.
I stopped looking at the Bears schedule after weeks. I was like, all right, just show me where the primetime games are. All right, cool. Nothing after 7. All right, I'm good. Like just everything else at noon or 1 o'clock. Like that's all I want.
So I did when I got off the train today. That's when the schedule came out, and Jake was walking outside the train station with me. And I pulled it up and I started going through it. And I'm such a fucking sucker. I was doing the win-win loss win-win. Jake, what I come up with? Like honestly, in the moment.
12-5 Washington Commanders.
12-5. I think the Commanders actually have an easy schedule this year. If you look at it, like the NFC Beast. We're going to be good. The entire division is going to be good. We played the worst.
That wouldn't be an easy schedule.
Well, we're going to beat each other up inside the division. But besides that, I think if you look at the rankings of strength of schedule, I think the 4 teams with the weakest schedules are all the NFC East teams because they play each other. Actually, now that I think about it.
So I'm pulling it up right now. The 4 teams with the weakest schedule is actually it's the Giants, the Eagles, the Colts, and the Bears.
I saw the Commanders had the easiest schedule.
Where'd you see that?
It was on at least 3 articles.
I'm going off Warren Sharp, who I trust.
He's got to be like different types.
He's got his own metrics. Yeah,
he got his own metrics.
Yeah,
I feel like the fairest way is winning percentage from last year, right?
Yeah,
but that doesn't. Yeah, I guess, but you have to like take into account, like if you're playing the Broncos this year, it's different than playing them last year. Seahawks, so I don't know how he does it, but you'd have to take into account like shifting of quarterbacks and everything, right?
Yeah, I mean that's probably a fair thing to say, but I do know that the Bears have an easy schedule too, like on paper.
Because they stunk last year. That's kind of they do design it that way. Nice.
I love kind of all the pageantry that goes around the schedule release. They do the release of the schedule release date like 2 weeks ago, and then there's like a slow trickling out of information. But I have a better way to do it. I think this would actually be what if every year they just like announced during football season on Monday mornings, they did like a selection show for what teams were going to be playing that week. Like not even the teams knew about it.
Yeah.
And they just announced it at the start of the week. That would get me through my Monday morning so much faster. It'd be amazing.
Yeah. It's like when they announce like where college game day is going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why not?
I mean, imagine how exciting Monday mornings would be. Even if the best part about that would be if you have a shitty team and you lose on Sunday, you still have something to look forward to on Monday. You can use the internet on Monday morning.
Yes.
Because at least there's some important information that you're going to need to know.
Other quirks that I noticed going through the schedule, week 1, Broncos at Seahawks. That's awesome that they did that. Monday Night Football. That's going to be great. Like I'll soak that in. Thanksgiving night. You always got to look at the schedule and see like, am I going to have to be around family, talking about stuff? Thanksgiving night, Hank's Patriots at the Vikings, Kirk Cousins primetime. Like, thank you, NFL. You gave us a great talking point. Like, haha, look at Kirk Cousins. That's so nice of them.
Yeah. Now, is that going to be like a superpower game for Kirk Cousins playing on Christmas?
No, that's Thanksgiving night.
Okay, Thanksgiving. Yeah, no, that's actually going to be perfect for Kirk Cousins to have like an awful game. Belichick is going to dismantle him limb by limb.
There's a working weird theory out there that the Browns got an easy first 4 games because Goodell's going to suspend Deshaun Watson for the month of September. I don't really understand that one because, like, when has the NFL done anything nice for the Browns?
Yeah, it doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up. They do have an easy schedule to start.
Like that would absolutely be the first time that Steelers fans would be NFL rigged because the Browns are getting a break.
Yeah, they play the Panthers, the Jets, the Steelers, and the Falcons. So it is an easy first 4 weeks. And then the last one, which Roger Goodell, like, you didn't have to do this. We all were going to watch NFL anyway. What they did for the Christmas Day schedule is so mean because they did. So it's Packers at Dolphins first game. I don't know. Might want to have the Heat and Bucks play in the NBA. That's funny. Then second game, they have the Broncos at the Rams. I don't know. playing the Lakers. You might want to have the Lakers playing the, NBA Christmas Day, or maybe even the Nuggets with your 2-time MVP. And then the last game is I don't know who's playing the Cardinals. I can't remember. The Bucks at Cardinals. I don't know. The Phoenix Suns seem like a pretty good team. They literally just picked out the best NBA teams. I think the Bulls and the Knicks are going to just have to play 5 times on Christmas Day. It's the only thing they have left.
I didn't notice that about the schedule, but
it's so funny.
I guarantee you that crossed Roger Goodell's mind. He's like, if we're gonna invade Christmas Day, we're going to take the entire fucking holiday for ourselves.
It took five teams that sitting right now, you would say are almost a lock to be on the NBA's Christmas Day schedule. 5 teams. Yeah. The Bucks, the Heat, the Lakers. You could even throw the Clippers, the Nuggets, and then the Suns. They just completely cucked the NBA on their day.
I love the first game of the season. Oh my God. The Bills, the Rams.
Yep.
As the kickoff game. So I've never done a game of the year, but I think I'm in advance calling that my game of the summer, maybe just game of the year on the over, calling it right now. Like throughout the summertime, when I'm making the over is going to happen. Turf. And I'm going to like save money as much as I can over the summer, bit by bit, and squirrel it all away to make this my biggest bet ever. I can envision that being like a 48-47 ball game.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. God damn. And then we also have Bucks at Cowboys Sunday Night Football to start. Good job, NFL. I scrolled through it, and honestly, there's like nothing you can say like, oh, that game shouldn't be like. I just want football.
Yeah,
I just want football. I have the self-awareness to realize just when the Bears are on national television, other people are looking at that and being like, ugh, we don't want to watch that. And obviously week 2, Packers, Bears, national television. I'll just kill myself.
Yeah. Don't do that.
But maybe for real this time. Who cares?
Don't do that. No dishes, nothing. As much as we made fun of like everything trickling out and being such a weird way of like announcing your schedule and taking yourself very seriously if you're the NFL, when it comes out, I still get excited.
Yeah.
Like I was reading, I was like super pumped up. I was doing all the things that I make fun of other people for doing, like scheduling out what my wins were going to be next year. It's good to have some optimism every now and again.
Yeah. No, you have to do this. I was getting frustrated this morning just because it was like every blue check mark was holding it over our heads. Did you see that one guy, by the way? Shout out the one guy who named his Twitter account NFL Schedule Leaks.
Yeah.
And he was completely just making them all up. And he got like 10,000 followers. And then he was just like, yeah, this is all made up.
Yeah, I love the move of just being like, yeah, I was bored and I just decided to fuck with people online. So I just invented all this stuff and I got over 10,000 followers. And then one of the first replies underneath is from one of the new like anonymous like NFL injury and trade update accounts. I think it's called like JPA Football, who takes himself quite seriously. And that guy was like, yeah, well, guess what? You just lost like 900 of them over the last hour. And it's like, yeah, that's the guy's point.
That's the point.
It's like, he doesn't care about building his brand because it's all fake.
Yes, exactly. And also one last shout out to the Chargers for doing the anime, including Urban Meyer as a Jaguar at the bar, which was great.
Yeah.
Little nuggets everywhere.
Wait, so let's grade the schedule releases. I think the Chargers get an A.
Yeah. Lions
get an A. Oh yeah, A+.
Yep.
Commander Dale Brown from Detroit Urban Survival Training.
Yep.
So they get an A+. And those are really the only 2 that stood out to me. I think Cleveland did something cool too.
The Cardinals did Flappy Bird, which is okay.
Pats had Ernie Adams.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's cool. So B+.
Yeah. The Bears were just throwing footballs into a bucket. It was like a solid F-, like as much of a F- as you could get.
The Commanders just took 3 players. They took like Charles Leno Jr. into a break room and just had him smash different items. They get an F as well.
Yeah, like I don't know. I would actually be fine if the Bears just released the schedule. Like, here's our schedule.
It'd be funny if a team didn't do it. Be like, you can find it online.
Just fucking Google it, dude.
We're focused on football on our team, not schedule releases.
Last thing, not to go back to Sixers fans, but Memes is updating this. So thank you to Memes. One last quote: Jimmy Butler in the hallway yelling Tobias Harris over me. So that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. But yeah. All right. Should we kick it? Should we kick it to ourselves?
Yeah.
Everyone listen to Brian Cox. Incredible interview. Let's kick it back to ourselves in the studio. Did Billy leave?
Yeah. If you notice, when Billy closed out,
he started doing it, dude. He went like this. Someone
Wait, keep recording. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am recording.
All right. So
also, I noticed this. Billy was closing his laptop like if your mom walks into the room and you're like looking at porn. Somebody walked in and he was like ashamed to be doing a podcast. And he was like, I'm not working.
I also like that, like,
well, you got like blackballed when we visited him there, remember?
Yeah, that's true. We'll kick it to ourselves in a second, but that was very funny that Billy, now it makes sense that he raised his hand to try to talk about the Jets schedule first because he wanted to be done.
Oh, dude.
Okay. So
oh my God.
I don't want to throw Billy.
All right, let's talk about that schedule. He was like this.
Yeah, he was like, oh, Jets first? Let's do it. And
like what, Billy? He's like, oh, I just want to talk about the Jets.
Of course, we're going to lead off with the fact that our three teams play each other in like a round robin in
Jets,
like a 2 weeks.
Jets are going.
He's like, no, Jets.
Okay, so I don't want to throw Billy under the bus, but he did reach out to me at 11:02, and he said, low key, how bad of a move is it to not zoom in tonight? So something weird's going on. And I told him, I said, it's not a good idea to just not show up at all without asking ahead of time. No.
Correct. All right. We'll leave this all in.
When I picked it up, he was just like walking through a neighborhood and was like, oh, let me find somewhere good. And he was on his phone and then just like walked into a TD Bank and like sat on the counter of it and was there like before. And like, we were trying to set up PFT's mic and he like kept trying to get in. So I was like, Billy, just fucking hold on. Like, I'll get you in after. And then that's when he showed up on a laptop. So I was like, all right.
So confused too, because I texted everyone and I said, let's start at 11:30. And at 11:25, Billy texted, let me in.
Yeah.
Did Billy break into a bank to record a podcast?
I thought he was doing it. I thought he was doing
have video
when he was like, I'm at the bank.
No, Jets schedule first. Hand up.
So funny. He makes me laugh.
All right, this will be on PMTV, I guess.
Yes. No. I say keep this in the podcast.
Yeah, keep it in.
Keep it in the podcast. Yeah.
All
keep
right,
it in the podcast. Now let's kick it to
fuck it.
ourselves. Yeah,
right.
Great show, boys. Let's kick it back to ourselves.
All right.
Before we get to the rest of the show, brought to you by our friends at Chevy Silverado. Chevy Silverado, the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. It is strong, advanced, dependable, and hardworking. You might not be a truck person right this second, but you are in the future because there's nothing better than having a truck. Summertime, tailgating at concerts, bringing the boat to the lake, moving lumber around, doing odd jobs around the house in the summertime. Nothing better than a great, dependable truck that works hard for you, and that is a Chevy Silverado. If you go to a Chevy Silverado dealership and you whisper the words, pardon my take, or PMT, or even Jake, if you say Jake, you get $100 off your Chevy Silverado, free tank of gas, free cup of coffee, all on us. Chevy Silverado, the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. We love Chevy. We love the Silverado. Hopefully we'll be driving one this summer at some point. Chevy Silverado, the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Okay. Rest of the show. Boys, I don't know who we want to start with because Hank and PFT, you both just had crushing defeats on Wednesday night.
Let's start with Hank. You go first, Hank.
Hank, the Celtics had that game up 6 with a minute and a half left. It's crazy, like, seeing how it all played out. The Bucks went 6 for 6 from 3 in the fourth quarter. Celtics didn't try a 3. Drew Holiday literally stole the Defensive Player of the Year award from Marcus Smart.
It's a regular season award.
In back-to-back plays. Panic button, because it felt like a game you guys should have won, and the Bucks found a way to just make enough plays down the stretch where they win the game in stunning fashion. Bobby Portis never stops hustling. Thoughts?
Worst loss since Game 7
Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron for sure. As good as the win the other night felt, last night felt significantly worse. It was like a big time lose sleep over it. Like you're kind of up at night thinking about it. It's the first thing you think about when you wake up, just deep sigh and just like you look at all the Bobby Portis, Drew Holiday stuff like it shouldn't have even happened. It was 14 seconds left. Giannis missed a free throw. Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown were the only two people close to it. Somehow they didn't say anything. They didn't communicate. They got mixed up. The ball went out of bounds.
They both got the ball went to Bobby Portis. They both got their hands on the ball. Insane bounce. And because everyone was going for the rebound, Bobby Portis was able to get his shot up without anyone contesting it, which even Bobby Portis, I think, if you hit him with truth serum, he didn't think that was going in. The way he shot it was like, I have the ball, I have to shoot, I'm right here. Threw it off the glass in, and then the Drew Holiday play, which was an insane defensive play to help with Pat Connaughton and snatch the ball from Marcus Smart, then throw it off of him.
We talked about Marcus Smart when we talked about him passing up that shot, and it was like that's something the old Marcus Smart would do, and I said that's something that Marcus Smart might do tomorrow. Like last night was a perfect example of that, where Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown didn't touch the ball in the most crucial possessions of the game. Like, yeah, he kind of had an open look at the basket, but there was still a lot of time. I don't know why they wouldn't have gotten the ball to one of those guys first. And then on the inbound play, there was just a lot of turnovers the Celtics had in the fourth quarter that were like, I don't know, just lazy or like kind of inexcusable, where they just had bad passes, kind of lazy passes, go out of bounds, get deflected, get stolen. But to just not even get a shot at the tie when you had the lead and essentially the ball with 14 seconds left, it's devastating. It was a devastating loss. I still think the Celtics are going to win the series, though.
I like that attitude.
I think they're going to win tonight.
Is it a must-win or can't lose?
It's a must-win.
Okay.
Smart's revenge. I have a bet in the Barstool Sportsbook. Celtics to win. Marcus Smart over points, rebounds, assists. It was as bad as it gets.
But you heard that stat, though, right, where 82% of the people that win Game 5 go on to win the series.
So
I'm wondering if you heard about math.
Yeah, I do. To me, I hear people win all the time. 18%.
That's true.
That's a lot.
That is 18% is nothing to scoff at.
No.
And when we were talking about Marcus Smart the other day, I think I said you'd
be like a pitcher in the major leagues with that batting average.
That's true. Yeah, you're like the best hitting pitcher in the majors. It still feels dangerous when they get up to the plate, right?
Yep, Jake Arrieta.
Especially in the playoffs. But we were talking about good Marcus and bad Marcus after Game 1, I think. Or no, it was against the Nets, right?
Yep.
The Nets Game 1. And I thought of this last night when I was on Twitch, and it hit me like the perfect example. Like he's like Rembrandt, the painter. I know you're familiar with his work, Hank. Sometimes you get a guy that paints like beautiful scenes of Puritan families, and then other times you get the guy that cuts his own ear off and goes totally psycho. And last night we had the Marcus Smart was cutting his own ear off game, and I was paying attention. It was on my second screen. I was watching a little bit. I was checking in on it. I thought the Celtics had him like at halftime. I thought this game was absolutely
in the fourth quarter.
Up 7 at half.
Up 7 at halftime.
They were up 13 in the fourth quarter.
They were up 13 at one point. And so you don't think that that's going to carry over? That's a deflating loss.
I'm going to defend Marcus Smart for a second. I think that was more of an incredible play by Drew Holiday. Now I'm talking about the cut to the basket off the inbound on the side out with 14 seconds left. That was just a great, he beat Pat Connaughton to get the pass, to get the open shot. Drew Holiday just made a great help defense play. I don't really know. I think Marcus Smart.
There's still so much time left on the clock, though. It's like that. Something tells me that that's not what they drew up. They weren't get the ball, drive to the hoop immediately, Marcus Smart, because then you're going to give him, 7 seconds left to win the game. That's not.
And then the end of the game, I thought that was just a bad play that they kind of drew up, because it was inbound to Al Horford back to Marcus Smart. So he basically had to start at the baseline and go all the way. You know what I mean? They should have had someone who can handle the ball, catching the ball and then going up.
He's the point guard.
Right. That's the problem. Is he shouldn't have been inbounding it, but obviously he's open after the inbound. I thought that was a little weird. Jason Tatum, get him the ball running. Right? Up the court is what I would want in that situation.
There was just some, Derek White had a pass that he just passed it out of bounds. There was just a few lazy plays. I don't want to call them lazy, but just plays even that one where it's handle the ball and pass it. They were just, dribbling way in front of him. It got stolen pretty easily.
Now,
It was just bad. It was bad fourth quarter execution. Their offense, like they went away from, they were just playing isolation basketball for the last 6 minutes. Like it seemed like they were up, and then they're like, all right, we're just going to kind of play iso ball, run the clock out, and we got this easy.
Now, how much can you say, though, they're the champs for a reason? Because it did feel like the Bucks. Like
not without their second best player.
Giannis
like it's
making big plays, hitting 2 threes in the fourth. Giannis scored 40. He kept them afloat at times. That felt like more like they're the champs for a reason. They find a way to make a big play when it matters the most.
You got to beat them without their second best player. It's unacceptable.
So where are you at on percentages? You said 18% is pretty good, but I get the feeling that you're more in the 22, 23% range.
That they lose.
So you're saying 67% chance
that they win both
these games.
Yes.
That's the wrong math, isn't it?
Yeah, not even close.
I think
77% chance.
I would say the game 6 is kind of like, if the Celtics win game 6, they're going to win the series in my mind.
I agree.
Like the Bucks have to win. The Bucks actually have a must win, because going back to Boston for a game 7 after you could have closed them out at home, that feels like a must win.
That's a can't lose to me.
Yeah.
That's a can't lose.
Okay.
If game 6 at home, you don't want it to go back. That's a can't lose.
So it's a must win versus a can't lose.
It's a must win versus a can't lose. We'll find out tonight which one is more important.
Wow. Huge.
Smart's revenge.
You were Liam said that he had to take a walk after.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I just sat on my couch kind of staring for like a while. And like I said, it was the first thing I thought about this morning was just like 14 seconds left with the rebound. Like it should have been 14 seconds left, up 1 with the ball. And instead it was down 1 and then down 3 in 2 seconds. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. They like changed the way that they were playing essentially. Once they had the lead, they did kind of play like not to lose instead of to win.
Right.
Like they were like on their heels the whole time. Once there was 5 minutes left where they weren't pushing on offense and their defense was just like playing prevent defense essentially.
Yeah.
And then eventually like they're just going to get picked apart doing that.
I want to go to game 7.
I do too.
I'm rooting for that, and it's not because I want to see the Celtics lose right now. I actually want to see Hank happy. I want to see him thriving. So I'm rooting for the Celtics hard. I want to see them lose it in the championship. I want to get that heartbreak.
Okay.
So I'm pulling for you, Hank.
And then the other heartbreak we had, PFT's Caps were up 3-0 in Florida. Felt like it was stranglehold on the series, and then the Panthers showed up and absolutely like blitzed the Caps. It happened so fast.
All right. Well, to be fair, they also concussed their goalie. It's a dirty play, high stick to the chin. Jake, you saw it. Samsonov collapsed to his knees. It looked like he was unconscious for a little bit. It looked like he died. They gave him a penalty. There was no blood. That's such a weird rule that they have in the NHL where it's like, if you bleed, that's how we determine. Actually, now that I think about it, that's a good rule. Like that's as good a rule as any. It's like if you are showing visible blood, it's a more severe penalty. No blood, no foul. But still, they concussed our goalie. He didn't look right for the rest of the game. Bobrovsky looked like he had looked all year. I'm worried. I'm a little bit worried that Jake is going to defeat me in my own barn and that he's going to be so nice and polite about it. He's going to stick his hand out. We're going to do the handshake line. It's going to be like losing to a golden retriever, and I can't be mad at him. So I don't know who I'm going to be mad at in that instance. I'm talking myself into all the worst things. A couple of good spin zones that I have for myself. Number 1, we got into a fight at the very end of the game. I always love that in hockey.
Need it.
At the end of a playoff game, if you get your ass kicked, if you can get into a fight with the other guy with under a minute left, I feel like that momentum actually does carry over to the next game. So I think it was Lars Eller beat the shit out of your guy. So
I agree with that.
I just care about the scoreboard.
We're skating downhill
Nice.
right now. We're skating downhill. That's the thing. The ice is tilted towards the Capitals. That's what I'm telling myself. The ice is tilted. We've got home ice. We're going to be rocking the red in the barn for the tits bet.
So you guys are going to be in the barn Friday night.
We're going to be there, Jake and I. We're going to go on DC Sports Radio tomorrow. I'm going to open up the phone lines to have any listeners to 106.7 The Fan call in and just roast Jake. I want it to be a roast of Jake Marsh
What's the
on
number?
the radio tomorrow. I don't have the number.
Okay, text it to me.
Okay, I'll text it to you.
What time?
It's going to be 11 a.m.
All right.
Corporate Hank
I'll cancel some meetings. Yeah, I'll move some meetings around.
I want everyone. I want Hank to call in. I want everyone to call in and just roast Jake Marsh to his face. He'll sit there and he'll take it. I'm going to show you what it's like to be a visiting sports fan in D.C. This ain't Raljon. This ain't
That's
Raljon,
the thing, because
baby.
I'm not coming in like flipping off the Caps.
No,
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
right before we started, you're like, I will beat the fuck out of any Capitals fan that tries me.
Jake was like,
that's what he said to me.
You mean the Washington Capitals? I thought that was out of line, Jake.
He was like, if any Cap fans like even fucking look at me funny, I am going to pound their face in.
It was disgusting.
I may have said that.
Yeah, he did.
So everybody call in and roast Jake to his face. I need all the false confidence that I can get going into this game.
Now, PFT, if someone did try Jake, you have a heavy burden of not letting our darling boy get hurt.
I will personally murder anybody that hurts Jake.
Yeah,
I will murder anyone that tries to hurt Jake.
Jake, if someone tried to hurt Jake, it would be pretty close to like someone trying to hurt my child. I'd have nice. Big time dad strength.
I would go to jail for you, Jake.
If someone tried to hurt Billy, I'd be like, tag me in.
But Jake,
Billy, that's how we set up the jokes here.
Billy,
but Jake
knows that Billy can fucking beat up anyone.
Yeah,
heroin,
beat the fuck out of anyone.
Well, not a banana.
Heroin,
not a banana. Heroin, yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. This will be fun. There's gonna be a decent crowd for Panther fans.
Why do you say that?
Because I've had like 3 people who I went to high school with say they moved to DC and they're gonna be at the game.
Okay,
huge.
All right, so at least four Panthers fans confirmed there.
Yeah, we know of.
Yes.
I loved watching the game on ESPN. I don't know like what the hierarchy is for all the NHL, like the rabid fans out there. You probably, from what I gather, you like listening to your home broadcast first and foremost, and then there's probably some national announcers that you like, some that you don't. The guys on ESPN too. I don't know who they were, but at the end of the game, when they broke it down for me, I'm not a smart hockey fan, but they broke it down in a way that I think
it was like
even
a Trent Dilfer.
Even Paul Bissonnette could understand the way that they broke down the game when it was 5-3 and we pulled our goalie with 3 minutes left. The announcer goes, all right, so what you're going to want to do here, you're going to want to score as fast as you can, because if you score fast, then that gives you more time to score again to tie the game. And I was like,
so you want to put the pressure on him. He's like, you really want to put the pressure on him that you might score again.
They almost did.
They almost did. We had our chances. We missed them. I'll just get to my Fyre Fest already, which is a lot of people are saying that I jinxed the Capitals. I don't believe in jinxes. I did say when they were up 3-0, I was like, if we win this Stanley Cup and the next Stanley Cup, does that count as a dynasty, taking into account the 2018 Stanley Cup that they had? I was just asking the question, and I think it might.
Starting debate. I think that's too many years.
No,
in
COVID.
between.
You have a COVID
years doesn't count. And then last year, Mickey Mouse with no fans.
I think it does. I think only because of COVID.
Here's the problem.
You could make it work.
I think it would if the Lightning hadn't won 2.
But those are COVID.
Right, but the Lightning won 2 in that in between, so it's like tough to.
Well, that's like
bubble
the
championships.
Rockets winning when the Bulls weren't winning.
Right, they didn't have you wouldn't call the Rockets a dynasty.
No, I'm saying I would call the Bulls. That entire thing was a dynasty.
Right, 6, not 3.
I'm going to count,
and it was 3-peats.
It's really 3 and 5 years at that point. That's if we win this Stanley Cup and next year's Stanley Cup.
Oh, you're counting. You're eliminating COVID year.
Eliminating COVID year altogether, and then last year I'm calling it a Mickey Mouse one because certain teams did not have fans.
Got it. So yeah, I guess if we eliminate two years, then yes, it'd be
okay.
3 and 4.
Good, but I did tweet that out.
When you do it that way, yeah, you're right.
Within 30 seconds of my tweet, the Panthers scored their first goal, and then it just never stopped after that. And I experienced the same thing that Hank did, where I sat and I stared at my TV for a long time.
It was actually shocking that it happened like to both of your teams at the exact same time almost. Where it was like, oh fuck.
That's the price you pay.
Bad.
That's the price you pay for rooting for excellence.
Yeah. Other games that we had, we have a new narrative that's very fun. Are the Grizzlies better without John Morant?
I love that narrative. You know I love that.
People are talking because they absolutely whomped the war. It was shocking to watch. It was so shocking that I watched the whole first half, and usually it's like auto bet Warriors second half. I just went to bed. I was like, the Warriors don't want to be here. They packed it in. The Grizzlies are absolutely killing them. But the stat is the Grizzlies are now, I think, 21-6 without John Morant.
Interesting.
21-6.
That's very interesting. I still can't not bet the Warriors though. The Warriors are going to be, as long as they have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green playing, I'm going to automatically bet them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they can't be this bad at shooting for this long.
It was a stunning game. But I also do think, they tried to make a little push in the middle of the second quarter, and the Grizzlies stayed firm and then extended the lead. And at that point, I think the Warriors were like, this is not us tonight. We're out.
Yeah, so I think that the Warriors are that good of a team where if they think that a game is out of hand, they don't have to really try to push back from a 20-point lead.
Right.
They can just say, we'll roll the dice in the next game because we're a vastly superior team.
Right.
I do like the fact that John Morant, his bone bruise, was not caused by the violation of
way.
the code.
No way.
He just like banged his knee on a separate play, and then he went back and he was like, "That's a violation of the code. You can't do that." But John Morant's probably out for the rest of the playoffs, right?
I believe so, but that means they'll probably win the title.
Bro football doc. Bone bruise.
Contusion.
Deep.
How long?
Medium depth.
Like 2 hours.
John Morant's a pussy.
Yeah, no, like a bone bruise just like stings at first.
Yeah.
And then it's like it's a bone, so it doesn't really move, so it's like not really sore.
So just deal with it.
Yeah.
Bones don't move?
No.
Think about it.
Hockey players, they play with bone bruises all the time.
Bones move, but muscles are moving the bone. The bone doesn't actually move.
Bones break.
Bones break, but they
don't move.
And they don't bend.
But I'm moving.
You're moving the bones, but
moving.
your muscles are the ones moving.
The muscles are moving the bones.
Yeah.
So 2 hours.
What's moving the muscles?
Electroshocks, causing contractions.
What about your heart?
Well, it's electricity.
It's polarization, depolarization of the heart.
We're organic robots.
Like Teslas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Credit to us for not no one throwing in a bonk there, because that could have. We're just talking about bones moving. That's it right there.
Yep.
All right. Rangers and Penguins have some bad blood, which is awesome. Need it. Sidney Crosby out. I don't know how long he'll be out.
Somebody told me that he was going to be out for like the rest of the playoffs.
Well, he does have concussion history.
It's an upper body injury, which could be anything above the penis.
I think it might have been a concussion. Maybe I'm wrong, but it was an elbow. It felt like to the face.
So Sidney Crosby is a guy that, like, I begrudgingly have to admit that he is one of the greatest hockey players of all time.
Very good.
I want to root for him to be out with an injury, but like if it's his head, given his history, I feel a little bit dirty about that. So I'm just going to say I think it's his shoulder.
Okay.
Until proven wrong. I think it's his shoulder.
Yeah.
I think he separated his shoulder, and I hope it keeps him out for the rest of his career. Now, that being said, if it's his head, I hope that he returns and makes a full recovery within the next, 12 hours.
Right.
And that he's fine. But I really hope it's his shoulder and that he's never able to play hockey again and that he dies alone.
Okay. There it is. That's perfectly put.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get to our interview. We got an interview that is something very different, but very interesting. Brian Cox, who is, what is his official title? Astrophysicist?
Rockstar astrophysicist.
Yeah. Crazy conversation in studio. Blew our minds. Will blow your mind.
Hit the blunt now.
Hit the blunt now.
Good point.
And then we'll finish with Fyre Fest on the other end.
Go check him out on his tour.
Yes.
Billy and I stopped by, and we stayed for the first hour and a half of it. It was, I looked over at Billy, and he seriously had his head in his hands, and I watched his mind explode when he was discussing black holes. This guy's a fascinating interview.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so let's get to him.
Before we get to the interview with Professor Brian Cox, I want to talk to you about our great friends over at 3Chi. You can skip the dispensary and get THC delivered straight to your door. Take 5% off Delta 8, HHC, THCV, and more from 3Chi. 3Chi's Delta 8 is a federally legal version of THC. It's a much more functional alternative to marijuana. Visit 3chi.com. That's the number 3chi.com. Use promo code STOOL5. Take 5% off, and you get a free Can-A-Fan flag sticker. The sale is exclusive to Barstool listeners. You have to be 21 to purchase. They have a wide variety of delicious edibles, vapes, drink enhancers, tinctures, and more. Gives you an amazing buzz and great body feel, but you get a clear head, you get less anxiety, less paranoia. Check them out right now. I'm not a drug guy, but I am a 3Chi guy. Get 5% off all their products at 3chi.com, and you get the Can-A-Fan flag sticker with promo code STOOL5. Now here's Professor Brian Cox.
Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest, something a little different. It is Professor Brian Cox. He is a physicist, very highly acclaimed. I actually have to tell you right now, though, up until 10 minutes ago, we thought we were getting the guy from Succession.
Do you know? I know him.
Oh.
And we went out for dinner together in London about 2 years ago. And we planned it. So he went into the restaurant and he said, "You have a table for Brian Cox?" And they said, "Yeah." And he went and sat down. And then just after I went in and said, "You have a table for Brian Cox?" And they panicked because they thought, "Oh no, we've given the wrong table away." So yeah.
Did you eat dinner with him?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Both Brian Coxes.
I'm just imagining the back and forth conversation at that table. You two have both very distinctive voices, but at the complete opposite ends of the spectrum, where he's like screaming. You're like, oh yes, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite gentle though in real life. He's not the Succession character.
Yeah, I mean, I was joking, by the way. We knew you were. We actually requested for you to come on the show. I was just trying to gain a mental edge because I know this is probably not going to go well for us understanding everything. But it's great to have you on. It is a little different. I guess I don't even know where to start with a guy. All right, let me start with this. When you go on podcasts and you go around in life. Does it ever get tiring, everyone being like, there goes the smart guy?
No, I mean, it's incorrect. I always say to when I go to schools or something and talk that scientists are no smarter than anybody else. They're just people who got interested in nature and in the sort of big questions that we'll talk about. But it's no more difficult than learning to play guitar. Well, you don't
Which
expect
also you're an acclaimed musician who is in a band who has 2 albums. So yeah, okay.
There is that. Yes, I did that as well.
Yeah. It's like learning a musician, which I also do.
Yeah, but it's about practice really, and it's about what you spend your time doing. Sports, you don't suddenly become a great quarterback or whatever it is. You have to practice, and it's just the same as that. It's just focus.
I like that because I was listening to an interview you did, and you said something similar when someone was brought up like, oh, I've never was good at science, and I count myself in that category. Like math and science were never my strong suits. And you said, well, I don't think people can't learn. It's just practice, and it takes a little bit longer for some people, which is a good way to approach it because it does seem like at this point in our history, and we don't need to get into like too deep, but science has kind of been thrown out a little bit, and people don't pay attention to it as much.
Which is strange because it's just the study of reality.
Right.
So
it's scary though for a lot of people because it is something they maybe don't understand at a deep level.
I think that's where the interesting stuff lies though. I mean the live shows that I'm doing, I start with just a quick tour of the universe. And so I say, this planet is one planet around one star amongst 400 billion stars. So in our galaxy, the moment you said that, 400 billion stars, that's a challenge. And nobody can visualize that. And then that galaxy is one galaxy amongst 2 trillion galaxies in the piece of the universe we can see. And we are very sure the universe extends way beyond that and could be infinite in extent. And even that, we think that our universe might be one of an infinite number of universes in a so-called multiverse.
Okay.
And that is challenging.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very.
No doubt.
That hurts my brain to
my
think
mind
about.
is rebelling against the words that you're saying right now because it's almost too big to comprehend. Do you have to, how can you even comprehend that? Or at some point it just becomes all theoretical and you have to, disassociate yourself from thinking about the reality of the fact that we are so infinitesimally small that can your brain actually understand how small we are, or is it just words that you say at this point?
No, I don't think anyone can visualize even the 400 billion stars, right? The little island that we live in, the Milky Way. Even that, it takes light 150,000 years to cross it, traveling at 186,000 miles a second. You can just keep I don't think anyone can visualize those numbers. But what you said there is really interesting, that there's a difference between being able to visualize it and then getting annoyed because you can't make sense of it, or you can try to understand what it means. It does. You're right. It means that we are not at the center of the universe and we are physically insignificant. That's a fact. But then you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting bit, actually, right. Isn't it? It's what do you make of it?
So how do you deal with it? I mean, right now I'm actually already considering a good comeback. I can have somebody calls me short. I'll be like, yeah, well, in the cosmic sense, you're very small too.
Yeah, exactly. So we're equally insignificant.
Yeah.
I think the other side of it is that if you ask questions about life in the universe, and particularly complex life, intelligent life, things like us, a civilization, I think there's a good argument that there might be very few of those. And actually, there's a reasonable argument we might assume there's about 1 per galaxy on average at any one time, which means that we're it. Right. So, interestingly, notwithstanding our physical insignificance, we might be tremendously valuable at the same time.
So you're saying our narcissism is actually, well-founded?
It may well be. I mean, the astronomers have a name for it. They call it the Great Silence, which is that it seems surprising, given 400 billion stars, most of them have planets, so there'll be trillions of planets in the Milky Way. It's been around for pretty much the age of the universe, 13 billion years. You would expect there to be other civilizations way ahead of us, and you kind of might just naively expect to be able to see them. But, and then some people are watching this, they'll go, well, yeah, we can see them because they come down and put crop circles down and things. But given that we ignore that because it's not true, in my view, then, the scientific evidence is we haven't seen anyone. So that is a problem.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, right?
Because a lot of people, I think one of the biggest problems right now that we have as a society is a lot of people, they just question all science and facts because they think that everything is almost like a conspiracy theory against them. How do you go against that? How do you go against the people right now that are basically saying, I don't need science, I can, read a Facebook message and be like, I've done my own research?
Well, they can, and then you ask them, how are you reading the Facebook message?
Right.
On what?
Right.
On a device that's basically at the fundamental level based on quantum mechanics, because the silicon and things in there operate in a quantum manner. And so you're using actually well over 100 years worth of scientific knowledge in order to read your Facebook post.
That's a good
That's
reply.
The answer. Yeah. I mean, it's the same with people who say, I heard it once, someone tweeted, I don't need this the GPS satellites and all that things because I've got my iPhone. You go, well, yeah. Well, you know how that map works.
Yeah, right.
But I think it's important. I mean, it's kind of amusing, but it's important. My great hero, Carl Sagan, is one of my great heroes. And he wrote a book called The Demon Haunted World, which is a brilliant book, which was back in the 80s. He wrote it, or early 90s, before a lot of this sort of tension. But he pointed out that we live in societies, whether we like it or not, that are based on science. It's one of the pillars of our society. And we all use it every day, medical science, and we go on aircraft and we have our iPhones and whatever it is. And we're also a democracy. And if a large number of citizens not only don't really understand the basics of that foundation, but distrust it, that's a problem for democracy itself.
Yeah.
As you kind of allude to.
Yeah.
If you have people who don't believe our best answer to a sensible question, like, for example, what will happen? It's a good question. What will happen if we keep burning fossil fuels at the rate we do? Right. That's a sensible question.
Right.
Well, the answer is it's very complicated, but given to the best of our ability, we use the models that we have and the measurements that we have, it looks like it will warm the climate up. Yeah. That's it. Right? That's the best we can do, given that the question is sensible. If you have a load of people who don't believe even that opinion, that the scientific view at some time, then you're in trouble. Yeah. You've seen it with the pandemic. If it's a public health crisis, and that was interesting because we saw science being done in real time. Right. So you go back to 2.5 years. We knew nothing about this virus. We didn't even know it probably didn't exist actually in humans if you go back 3 years. And so you saw us doing science and learning about it. And there are good questions. Is it airborne, or does it get transmitted in droplets? Is it good to wear masks? How do we develop the vaccines and so on? All those things are just scientific questions. Yeah. And we're doing research in real time. So if people don't understand just that process of how we acquire reliable knowledge,
I think the process I think was a real issue because there were people don't understand that science is trial and error, or trial and error. It's you hypothesize, and then sometimes your hypothesis is proven correctly, sometimes it's proven to be false, and some of the hypotheses that people had were proven to be false, and that's normal for a brand new virus, for something new that we're exploring, that we're learning about. But people saw, they saw those and they thought that they were failures of science, or that they were, proof that all the scientists are not to be trusted to begin with. When actually what they're seeing is the scientific method playing out as it should in front of their eyes. Right. But in real time, it can just completely screw up your worldview, and you can point at that and be like, see, scientists are all wrong about this.
Yeah, at the end of the day, people just want answers. Yeah, and to feel good about it, you know what I mean? Because I think that's the scary part, that it's similar to what you said about the universe. Yeah. Where you start to think about it, you get scared, and you're like, well, no, it could be infinite. It's scary. That's a scary proposition.
There's it's interesting to look back into the 50s. There's Robert Oppenheimer, right? So Oppenheimer is most famous for the Manhattan Project, the lead scientist on the Manhattan Project. So he was, large part, responsible for the atom bomb. And then he saw what had happened. And in the 50s, he thought really deeply about whether, kind of to paraphrase him, whether the things that we know, our knowledge, exceeds our wisdom. Right? And he was very worried that he delivered knowledge to politicians and to society which could not be controlled.
Right.
And so he thought about what is it? How can we use the thought processes that we use in science, that nature forces on us if we're going to understand it? How can we use that in wider society? And he came to the view that the really important thing is that acceptance that we don't know everything. Once you accept that you don't know, that's the key. It's the key to it. And then you can make progress and you can try to find out. And you're not annoyed if you're wrong, because once you've accepted you don't know, then you're going to be wrong about a lot of things. You're happy because you now made a bit of progress and you understand something a bit better. So he felt that we can transfer that skill that we've developed in trying to understand nature to the wider public sphere. And it would be a tremendous... Imagine a political world. Imagine politicians where the first thing they say is, well, we don't really know because it's really complicated. So the best guess we have at the moment, the best informed guess, is to try this. And if that doesn't work, then we'll go, okay, that's good. Now we'll try this. It's almost unimaginable.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it taps into human nature of wanting to be comforted with the answers. And, this is now getting even deeper, which is actually good because we don't usually have conversations like this. But a lot of the reason why religion is around, has been around for so long is people don't have the answers, and that's an answer, of like, hey, there's heaven, there's hell, there's things that we can't explain are explained with religion. And so, like, people just genuinely, I think, wake up and just want to be told, hey, this is how it works, even though, like you said, we don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. I couldn't have put it better myself. I mean, also one of Oppenheimer's colleagues, Richard Feynman, who's if you've never encountered him, he wrote a series of books. There's one called Surely You Must Be Joking, Mr. Feynman. He's an incredible character. Won the Nobel Prize, also famous playing bongo drums. Incredible guy. And he wrote an essay, again, in the 50s, called The Value of Science. And in it, he said, science is a satisfactory philosophy of ignorance. That's all it is. So it's merely satisfactory, and it's a philosophy of ignorance. It's based on this idea that we start out knowing nothing. But if you apply that, you say, how do you answer people who say, I just don't believe this stuff. Right. I don't believe the Big Bang and whatever. But the same processes go into designing aircraft, for example. Right. So you very rarely get people on aircraft going sort of knocking on the door and saying, right, I am a member of a democratic society. I have a right to land this plane.
Right,
right. I know you're an expert, fair enough, Captain, but I know my rights. I'm going to land it. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So people, or I'm going to design that nuclear power station. I don't think it should be done like that. So I think people do understand that there is such a thing as expertise. But you're right that some people find it difficult when the things we find out about nature run counter to their kind of expectations or desires or the things they want to believe in. I mean, it is, we don't even know if the universe had a beginning in time. Right? We know that it was very hot and very dense 13.8 billion years ago because we've measured it. And that's what we used to call the Big Bang, right? Hot, dense universe. But we strongly suspect the universe was around before that and may have been around forever. We're actually beginning to think now that time itself emerges from some deeper theory, which we can talk about. That's a study of black holes is telling us that, which we can talk about later. But the point is that when you talk about, if you dogmatically believe that you know how the universe began, we don't even know if it began.
Yeah.
So that's the philosophy of ignorance.
And that goes back to what I'm saying.
It's way easier to just be like, God did it in 6 days.
Right.
And then on the seventh day, he took a nap, ate a sandwich, and then you're supposed to chill out on Sundays.
Yeah, what do you mean, scientists? You don't know how it began? That is for a lot of people discomforting. And I know I understand exactly what you're saying. It's it's again, you've put us in a spot where I'm like trying to understand how time emerges.
Well, that's the thing is like
it's a wild
we can talk
concept.
about that. It's cool.
You could be making all that up right now, and we'd just be like, "Wow."
I always say that.
That's fantastic. But what do you mean? Like, what was there when you say we don't even know when time, what was going on before time began? Wouldn't that be a time too?
Well, that's a good point. We really. So if I wind back a bit, we have a theory now called inflation, which is one of our best theories.
Thanks, Biden.
How the universe? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's worse than that.
Okay.
So the idea is that before the universe was hot and dense, it was still around, and it was expanding very quickly. And so if you take 2 points in that universe, like say just a centimeter apart, whatever it is, then the distance was doubling in scientific language 10 to the minus 37 seconds, which is 0.0000000. It's 37 zeros, 1 of a second. So it was doubling. So that's why it's called inflation. So it's worse than the current level. And that carries on.
It's like Carter.
Yeah.
This is
we're
like
back in the 70s now.
I've tried this with gambling too. If you just like bet $25 a blackjack hand, then 50, then eventually you're going to win.
It's an exponential. It's exponential expansion. And then that drew to a close, and everything heated up, and the energy that was driving that got dumped into the universe, and that's what we call the Big Bang. So that's called inflation. So we have that theory. But the study of black holes now, which really began with the simplest question. You said to me before we went on, there might be some silly questions. No questions are silly. So Stephen Hawking asked what might sound like a silly question back in the 1970s, which is that if you throw something into a black hole, a book, something, anything, then what happens to the information in the book? Does it get destroyed? Does it get banished from the universe forever? Or does it somehow come out again?
It comes out on a bookshelf in like the middle of Iowa. What was that movie?
Oh, Interstellar.
Interstellar, yeah, that's what we learned.
That's not what happened. So we know that Interstellar.
Yeah.
But actually, Kip Thorne, who co-wrote Interstellar, has got a Nobel Prize. He's one of the greatest living physicists.
Huh.
So actually, Interstellar's got a really that was kind of a representation of these ideas. But back 10 years ago, so we've made this huge progress now, and now we think that the information comes out again.
Huh? Which comes out the other side.
It comes out the black hole evaporates away, and that's what Hawking's great discovery, what's called Hawking radiation. So the black hole glows a bit, and so eventually, over long times, very long times, it'll evaporate away. And it looks now that like the information of everything that fell in is imprinted in that radiation that comes out. So if you jumped in, weirdly, from your perspective, you go to the end of time in the black hole. So the center of a black hole, the so-called singularity in the middle, is the end of time, which is a weird thing in itself. So you go to the end of time. So one way of thinking, why can't I get out of a black hole? Because you have to go to the end of time. It's like saying, which direction should I run to escape tomorrow?
Right.
So if I say to you, I want you to run now away from tomorrow, then you can't, right? So it's the same.
I just go backwards.
Back in
just
time.
Keep going west.
Just
not culturally.
If I keep backpedaling away, then it's never going to actually confront
go
me.
into the 50s. Where would I go? I'm not even going to say that.
Just ban the forward pass.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
But so
the Chicago Bears go back in time every Sunday. Yeah. They do. But yeah, go ahead.
So there's that. So that's from your perspective. That's what happens to you. You go to the time ends for you. But then the information that was you, the essence of you, sort of comes out again eventually, in principle, apparently. According to the current research. So, but what that's led us to do is suspect that there's a theory below this theory of space and time. So really, you can think of building blocks of space and time, atoms of time, if you like. We don't know what they are, but it looks like somehow this experience of space and time that we have emerges from a deeper theory.
Is there anything that you'd like to discover? Because you just mentioned was it the Hawking effect or the Hawking?
Yeah, Hawking radiation.
Hawking radiation. To get something named after you must be pretty exciting. Do you have anything named after you?
No. I was trying to think of a witty reply, but I can't even think of that, actually.
So the Big Bang, the Big Cox?
Yeah, well, exactly. There's a lot of potential there.
Yeah,
isn't there?
There is. There really is.
Innuendo.
I mean, if you want to get kids interested in science, having a name like, before the Big Bang, it was actually the Giant Cox.
Yeah,
People,
Yeah,
kids
I
would
agree with
rebrand
you.
up. Yeah,
I should work harder just for that, just to give the Nobel Prize speech.
Yeah,
with that in it.
think about
and
that.
I have
Yeah.
named this theory.
Now, is that a goal? Like Nobel Prize? Is that something that we think of everything in sports terms? Like the goal is to win the Super Bowl. The goal is to win the Stanley Cup. Do scientists, even though we know that scientists get into their profession for different reasons, but is there ever a point where the goal is to get the Nobel Prize?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, they all deny it. Everybody gets a Nobel Prize, says, "Well, that's nice, but I didn't do it for that reason." But it is. You're right. It is the highest possible accolade that you can get. And I've been lucky to meet a few Nobel Prize winners, but they all say that I did it for the love of knowledge.
So
but then I think they're quite pleased.
Yeah, right. And we could, again, because we're a sports podcast, we could be like Brian Cox, choke artist, hasn't won a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
Like you haven't won a ring.
No.
So you got to do it eventually to cement your legacy.
It's hard. I mean, even Stephen Hawking didn't. I think he should have done.
Oh, he never won one?
I know. He's like the Dan Marino of scientists.
Not my GOAT. Yeah. What the hell?
Who's the GOAT? Is like the greatest of all time? Would you say is it Einstein, or is that just kind of a basic answer?
I mean, there are a few. I mean,
no, there's only one GOAT.
Yeah, I think it's Newton.
By the way, we get in whenever we have anyone on the show that is in any. We just had a tennis pro on last week. Like, we always just distill every conversation to just tell us who the GOAT is.
And then we can argue about whether or not your GOAT is my GOAT.
Yeah, right.
And then it just becomes an endless cycle of feedback. I think it's Isaac Newton. I think Newton's got to be the GOAT.
I'm going to go with Einstein. Even though he married his cousin, which is like, what?
Isaac Newton never married at all. He was died a virgin.
There we go.
You might both be right.
Okay.
No.
No,
you
don't understand how the
you don't
GOAT
get the
conversation
GOAT.
works.
Newton was so his theory of gravity. It was the first time that anyone had taken a theory of a little mathematical description of how things move around here. You just throw a tennis ball in the air or something and it goes in this path. So, and then extend it to the whole universe. So he said, well, the moon behaves in the same way and the Earth goes around the sun in the same way. That's a huge leap. So he was a genius. But Einstein, you're right. I mean, his idea that space and time are merged together, and then his theory of gravity, his new theory of gravity, which replaces Newton's and is better than its general relativity, is still the state of the art today. So you're right that they're both. But there's a guy called. If you go, the thing is, Newton had this phrase. I think is correct. It's not apocryphal. He said he was standing on the shoulders of giants, and one of the reasons he said that is because his great rival Hooke was about 4 feet high. He was a little short guy, and he hated him. So one of the reasons he said that is because of Hooke. But he's right. He did mean it as well, which is that there was Galileo before him, and there's a Kepler. Kepler you might not have heard of, but Kepler wrote a book, which is a brilliant book called The Six-Cornered Snowflake, which is this beautiful book, 1619, I think it was. And he got interested in a snowflake that landed on his arm when he was walking across a bridge in Prague, going to his benefactor's party, and he realised that he hadn't bought him a present. And it was a bad move, back in 1619 to buy the rich guy that was funding you and didn't buy him a present. So he wrote this book saying, I brought you the gift of something that's almost nothing, but is in fact everything. And he talks about the structure of a snowflake. And he thought, why are they all sort of six-sided? What is it? They all look the same, but they're all different. So what is the reason they all look the same? And then he started thinking, well, maybe it's something to do with the building blocks of the snowflake. And he's right. It's water molecules. But he had no idea in 1619. But when you read his book, even now, you see a genius at work. And so these people, all of this list, they're all brilliant, without a doubt. So that's why I'm not going for this single.
I guess it is. They all do build on each other. That's true.
It's like
you still need a GOAT.
You're saying that like Newton is Bob Cousy, and then Einstein is Chris Paul, kind of like that.
Yeah.
One wouldn't exist without the other.
Yeah. You got a whole team of them.
Yes.
Who's the best athlete of all the scientists?
The best athlete
is it Neil Tyson?
Wasn't he a
He's a wrestler, I think.
Reasonable
like, is there one?
I think I could take him though.
You could take Neil?
Yeah, I think so. I think. Yeah.
What's your martial art of choice?
I box, so I reckon I could.
Rough and rowdy.
Who's your goat in boxing? Is it Ali?
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to say when you're just watching the speed and skill and arrogance, which I love.
We should get you boxing and rough and rowdy. So we have a boxing league that's amateur, just random guys, 3 rounds, 1 minute rounds. Billy actually fought Jose Canseco.
Did you?
Another
year ago.
mental titan.
Yeah, true mental titans. That would be quite something if one of the smartest guys in the world fought in rough and rowdy.
Yeah, I'll have a go with that. See what happens.
It's probably wear headgear though.
Yeah,
gotta protect the brain.
Yes,
I've got kind of an unusual question. If we did discover carbon-based life, intelligent life on another planet, and let's just say they came to Earth, and you were put into a room with an alien from the other planet that had your exact same job and background, but on this alien planet. So they were scientists, they studied astrophysics. How would you begin to communicate with that alien life form to let them know, here's my knowledge base, I am also a scientist, but here on Earth?
There are properties of the universe that are completely universal. For example, the wavelength of light that gets emitted from hydrogen atoms is a famous one. So it's something that hydrogen atoms do that they do everywhere in the universe. They're all the same, and the wavelength of light is 21 centimeters. So it's that long. So you can start by saying, look, this is a universal length. It doesn't matter what you call it. You call it centimeters or inches or whatever.
1 Cox.
But 1 Cox. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
That's
a big one.
Yeah, he just expanded the universe a little bit there.
So you can talk in terms of these fundamental universal properties. Speed of light is another one. No matter how you measure distance and time, you'll know that there is this constant speed that's always measured to be the same. So you use the universal properties of the universe.
So you take it, if you had a piece of paper and a pencil, and you were told, okay, demonstrate that to this alien, you would draw like a 21 centimeter line.
Yeah,
as like a baseline.
It was done. So there's I think it was in the 60s. So a message was sent out from the Arecibo telescope in Puerto Rico, which has actually just recently sort of collapsed. Actually, it was one of the iconic telescopes, but it's gone now, sadly. But Frank Drake was the astronomer who did it, and they had to think about that because they wanted to send a message out into the universe that could be decoded, and they did use the hydrogen. It's called the hydrogen line, the 21 centimeters, because once you've established a length, and you need a time scale, so you can a lot of atoms sort of vibrate in a particular way, and so they have they're like little clocks, and so you can say, well, you can have a picture of one of those and say, here's our clock, so here's our time, and here's our distance. And once you've got that, you can build up everything else. They did it on Voyager, the Voyager space probe. They sent it out with a message to anyone that found it.
Is this the one that had the Beatles record on it?
It did. No, it didn't have George Harrison on it because apparently his publisher wouldn't give them the rights.
Oh, that's funny.
And he was annoyed. He was very angry when he found out. But Chuck Berry's on it. There's also
that's a good one.
But that so they
Drake
sent,
on it.
It was in the 70s, so it was vinyl, right? It was actually gold, I think, but it was basically a vinyl record. So they had to send out the instructions to build a record player in order to play the record, and they had to do all this. So they ended up with the 21 centimeter hydrogen line you play at this speed, 33 1/3 RPM or whatever it is.
So we sent a bunch of aliens in an IKEA box. That's terrible.
It's basically
like, what the fuck?
It's
I don't want to build this.
with a stylus and everything, because you've got to show them how to decode the message on the record. And then they thought, what are we going to put on it? And so Chuck Berry got on it. There's some Bach, some classical music, and some pictures of Earth, images of Earth. They're worth seeing online, actually, because they're bizarre. And Carl Sagan had a lot to do with it, and his wife, Andrianne, thought about what to put on there. What can we send out? What would be the image of Earth that we would like to present to the
aliens?
aliens?
It's a heavy responsibility to think about.
Like, send a game of the year.
If it's up
game
to
of the
you.
millennium.
What are aliens going to know about planet Earth?
Yeah,
I don't even know how I'd begin to even that's the weight of that decision would be pretty hefty.
Yeah.
There's a picture on there actually. If you look online, there's one, and it's inexplicable to me. And it's a guy there's some other people, there's about 3 of them, and he's drinking wine out of what looks like a flower vase. So he's like drink like that. It's it's a huge thing, and he sat there drinking red wine out of it, and they sent that for some reason. So there's some really weird choices.
Ray Allen's tweet.
Yeah, that would be great.
We're going to get back to Brian Cox in a second. Before we do, he's brought to you by Simply Safe. Simply Safe offers whole home protection for every window, room, and door against intruders, fires, water damage, medical emergencies, and more. All monitored 24/7 by professionals ready to dispatch police. The experts at Simply Safe will help you customize the perfect system for your home. You're going to customize your system with products like their entry sensor that alerts you when a door or a window is open. They have a motion sensor that detects humans, not pets. It's designed for high traffic areas like a hallway where an intruder would pass through. When motion is detected, it sounds the alarm. They have outdoor and indoor cameras. They have a video doorbell and a water sensor, smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector that will dispatch fire department immediately. Carbon monoxide, the silent killer. It's super easy to set up. You can customize it for any space, and their app is super convenient, and it gives you peace of mind. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/PMT. Go ahead, claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. Go to simplysafe.com/PMT. And now here's more Brian Cox.
Another dumb question, and this is just a basic question. How many years of school did you do? Total.
Well, I actually left school at 18 and became a musician for 5 years.
So
and then went
dropout.
back to university at 23.
Wow.
And I've kind of been there ever since, basically.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I had 5 years off.
And you I mean, your band was a good band that had, real albums. So what was your decision like, hey, maybe this isn't for me? I would imagine you are the only person in the entire world to leave a rock band to go back to college for physics.
Almost, but Brian May as well almost did it. However, he'd had slightly more success than me by the time he went back.
Yeah.
But he'd also probably done slightly more cocaine than you.
Probably.
I would assume.
So why'd you decide to do that? Because that's a very interesting life choice.
Well, yeah, I mean, we toured for 5 years, and we ended up, I mean, we had a fight, actually. The band had a fight and sort of split up, although it's actually still together, in fact. They're still making music now, but we kind of had a split at the time.
That's when Einstein or Newton you guys were getting into.
It was a big one, and I was going, Kepler! But I'd got a bit sick of it. It was, it's hard work being in a band, and we were one of those working bands, although the first professional gig I played was supporting Jimmy Page.
Oh, wow.
So it was quite when I was 18, so it was quite a sort of introduction. And then Gary Moore, and then a band called Europe. I don't even remember Europe, which is a bit different to Jimmy Page, but we toured for 3 months with them. So it was hard work. And so I just got sick of it, basically. And then we had a fight.
I like how you're like, it's hard work, and then I became a world-renowned physicist.
Well, no, I wasn't
also
world-renowned.
Extremely hard work.
At the time. But there's a story about Einstein where he gave a talk in a school, and he said to them, the first thing he said to them, when I was your age, I was no Einstein, which I thought was a great thing to say.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Here's another dumb question. We've been actually debating this. This will give you a nice little baseline about the level of intelligence of our podcast. We've been discussing this for 6 years. Still haven't got to the bottom of it. If the sun is hot, why is outer space cold?
Well, you have to understand what hot is, what temperature is. And it's not a dumb question. It's a really good question. It took people hundreds of years to work out what temperature is. And then it's only the 20th century, really, that everybody agrees that everything's made of atoms. That's astonishingly. Einstein wrote a paper in 1905, which was proving or trying to really give good evidence for the fact that everything's made of atoms. So it's quite recent. But temperature is, in one way of thinking about it, is a measure of how fast these things are moving around, these little components, these little atoms. How fast are they jiggling? Higher temperature, they're moving around faster. So that's one way of thinking about it. There are other ways, and so in space, in a vacuum, there's if it's a perfect vacuum, there's no temperature at all, because there's nothing there, right? So that's one way to think about
atoms
temperature.
To be heated up, around you.
Yes. So I mean, the way that we feel heat. So why is it hot? Why do you feel hot? It's because things are bumping into your skin. So they're either the molecules of the air, or it can be light, right, that's hitting you. But it's something is hitting you, and that's what you feel as temperature.
So if you're in outer space and you take let's say you cut your sleeves off, but you got the rest of the spacesuit on, will you get a suntan or a sunburn from the radiation?
Well, yeah, if you were close to the sun, you
so wouldn't that you would feel hot?
Yeah, but it's about the amount of energy that hits you. So you'd need to be pretty close to the sun. Because we have a spacecraft now that's quite close there.
How close?
Well, it's a good question, because I realised when I said that.
I
don't actually know what the number is, but it's called the Parker Solar Probe, and that's orbiting around there. It comes in very close, actually goes into the solar atmosphere.
Wow.
So these are really good questions about temperature and energy and ultimately to damage you. It's about energy. It's how much energy hits you. Mm-hmm. And so if you're in a vacuum, then you're right. All you've got when you're close to the sun is the light, which is not the same as being immersed in a bath of water at 100 degrees C or something like that, because there's more energy hitting you then and damaging you. So it's called the science of thermodynamics, this, and it's a really good question, because I think it's actually, I'm writing a book at the moment on black holes, and there's a lot of this thermodynamics in it. And actually I realized that all the way through being at university and all that stuff, I hadn't really understood it properly by trying to write a book on it. So it took people. There's another guy, Boltzmann. There's a list of great names in physics who thought about just what is temperature, what is energy, there's something called entropy, which is the way everything's arranged, and so these are really good questions.
We started to question it because I stumbled my way onto a conspiracy theory that the sun was actually cold, and there's a community of people out there that believe that the sun is cold, which is why when you go up to the top of a mountain, you get colder than you do.
It's because the air's thin. So given what I said, it's just broadly speaking, if you think, even if the air is the same, even if the average energy of the molecules is about the same, there's not as many of them.
I was so intrigued.
They're not hitting you.
I was so intrigued by this community of people that believe that the sun was cold, because it seems like the most possible incorrect hypothesis that you can possibly have, and then they're going out of their way to like backfill all the information about why it's actually true. It's just fascinating to watch the human mind twist itself into a pretzel to the point where they actually think
it's like
that the sun is cold.
Yeah, it's like the conspiracy theory birds aren't real.
It's the most wrong you can be about anything, I think.
Yeah, there's one that birds are just robots planted by the government. Does this stuff, when you hear that stuff, do you get disgusted? Are you like, oh my God, we're so screwed? There are actually people who are like, birds aren't real?
Yeah, well, if there was enough of them, then I'd be really worried.
It's a growing movement.
If there's only 5 of them,
I'm not so worried about there might be more soon. Who knows?
I think that one was actually started somewhat satirically to point out like the people that actually believe.
People actually start believing.
People believe
but
it.
The sun one is a real.
That's a real one.
Thing.
And then there's also one that Finland doesn't exist. I'm really into that one at the moment. I think it's a big farce set up by the Russian government to ensure fishing rights off the coast of Norway. That's
what I always think. Mainly conspiracy theories, other than being nonsense, they fall down sometimes on the motivation, don't they? It's like, why would you spend, presumably hundreds of years inventing a great fallacy about a country that doesn't actually exist, just so that you can get more fish?
More fish.
Why don't you just go and get more fish?
Does
build some more fishing boats.
Does it frustrate you, though, on conspiracy theories? Because, we had one of the weirder moments with the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing, and there were people who were convinced that it was fake, even though we watched it with our own 2 eyes, and it was set up and all these things. And someone said something that it made so much sense to me. Where like, the best thing about conspiracy theories is that the conspiracy theorists always put the onus on other people to prove that like what they're saying is wrong. They never actually give like real facts as to why they're right. Does that bother you when you hear that? When it's like you basically get challenged at every second, and no one is really actually presenting any evidence on the other side. They're just challenging you.
Yeah, I mean it becomes a problem. It's not a problem. I mean, if you've got a few people who think that the sun is cold, it doesn't really matter, does it? But it does matter if there are enough of them, and they, as we talked about earlier, and they stop trusting anything.
Right.
Because you have to have an accepted sort of base level of knowledge about the world in a democracy. Otherwise, people will vote for ridiculous things.
Right.
And that's bad for everybody. So then it worries me.
Yeah.
And I think the answer is, I mean, the answer ultimately has to be education, doesn't it? It's not that people should know how old the universe is or how many stars are in a galaxy. It just doesn't matter, right? But what matters is that people have a basic understanding of how we acquire reliable knowledge and what that means. What do I mean by reliable knowledge? I mean, as you said, I mean that we understand that if you're putting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere in large amounts, then it will increase the average temperature of the Earth. That's just reliable knowledge. It's been known for hundreds of years. It's not a conspiracy. It's the way that nature works. You can see why from the chat we've had about temperature. It's about trapping energy.
Yeah.
It's a really simple idea, really. It's just that CO2 traps, absorbs what's called infrared radiation, which is the heat radiation that comes from the surface of the Earth. So it absorbs it. The visible light comes through it. Visible light doesn't bother it, but visible light comes and hits the ground, heats it up, and it's the heat that gets trapped. And that's it. That's been known, I can't remember when it was, 1700s, I think, or 1800s, certainly. So it's just basic stuff.
Right.
But if people start to mistrust that and then confuse it with politics, which is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Politics is really complicated. Politics is the idea that people have different views of how we should run countries, and that's perfectly right because it's really hard to run a country. We don't know how to do it. Actually, Feynman again in that essay I mentioned earlier said that democracy is a great example of the scientific method in action, because in order to have a democracy you have to realize that we don't know how to run a society, so you change it every 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's actually the fact that we change it that tells us that we are free, right? It's the guarantor of our freedom is that you sit there and watch your country, and sometimes it swings away from you and it does things that you don't like, and sometimes it swings towards you and it does things that you do. Once that pendulum, the moment that pendulum stops swinging, so you always agree with the government, for example, or always disagree, then you know that you're not in a free society anymore. So you're supposed to celebrate the fact that society is very complicated. There are lots of people with different views. And so it's understanding those things are the things that really matter.
I like that. That's a good way of saying, like, we instead of just shouting down people who disagree with you, it's a scientific process at work.
Conflict is good.
Yeah.
Unless they're saying the sun's cold.
Yeah, then right.
In which case you just go
right.
One thing that's intrigued me is I was reading about ancient Greece a while ago, and they had this process for choosing their leaders called sortition, which would be they would put everybody's name in a hat, and then they would draw a name out of the hat every 5-6 years, and then that person, completely at random, would run the entire city-state. And that sounds insane, especially when you look around any given room that you're in. You're like, oh my God, that guy could be our leader. But the theory behind it was that it would ensure that education was extremely high, because any one of these clowns could end up becoming your leader and in charge of your life in the future. That to me just seems like the ultimate chaotic move. But I understand the process, because right now I feel like education, at least in the United States, has taken a big back seat in the last 20, 30 years. Seems like everyone's own pet projects and infighting at the local level has really overtaken the importance on education.
I couldn't agree more. And it's quite, you have to ask whether that would produce worse leadership than we have at the moment. I'm not actually sure it would. Just a random choice of people. It's an old truth, isn't it, in a way, that anyone who thinks that they want to run a country probably shouldn't.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Time.
I've been saying that for years. Anybody that wants to be president, immediately I do not trust you.
Correct.
If you grew up wanting to be president, you just want to grow up to rule everybody?
Yeah.
That's a red flag. It should be somebody completely random who is afraid of having all the responsibility and is just like completely, they think that they're in over their heads, as opposed to somebody that possibly thinks to themselves that, yes, I can manage 300
I know the
million
answers,
people.
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, what would you do, or I? I don't know how to run a country. So what I think my response would be, well, I better get some people who know about things, and listen to them,
experts,
and try to sort of work out the best way of doing this. That you're probably right. That's probably what a normal person would do, rather than say, I know.
I would do that short story, The Lottery, where they pick a name every year and they stone them to death. I'd do that because that would just be thrilling.
Would you?
Yeah, wouldn't that be thrilling?
I would also add on, my first thing would be like, I got to get these people to like me. So every Friday we're doing Pizza Fridays.
Yep.
Every pizza place.
Jeans Fridays.
Jeans Friday and Pizza Fridays. Every place in America, they have free pizza. If you just walk in, you get a free slice. And then Sundays, where everybody eats ice cream on Sundays for free.
And no taxes.
But you don't need to, because they don't need to like you, because they don't vote for you.
That's a good point,
So
but
I
would feel like they don't vote for you.
But everyone wants to be liked.
But I feel like in sortition, in that process, there's a high probability of an angry mob coming at you with pitchforks. I feel like most of those people didn't really last the 5-year.
Oh, so your policy choices would become a kind of self-defense.
Yeah.
Yes. Just make everybody like me, please. Don't kill me.
So based on this discussion, have you had, like, what's the most spirited debate you've had with another scientist? Does it ever get very heated, disagreeing on things?
Yeah, all the time, because that's the process. Because science, if you think about what research is, it's about operating at the edge of knowledge. It's about not being afraid of the unknown.
Yeah.
It's about standing on the edge of the known and peering out into the unknown with excitement and delight, not with fear. So you're interested in being on the edge of the known. So when you're there, then everybody that's standing there on that boundary with you probably has a slightly different view of what you're going to find, because you don't know. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
So it's about there's robust debate, but, and I think this is true, and it's certainly true for me, if my theory of what was going to happen turns out to be wrong, then I am actually genuinely happy, because I learned something. Because you're in it. You're in it to know more about nature. You're not in it to be seen to be right.
See, that's not what science is. This is foreign to, like, I would be so pissed if I had a theory and I presented it and it was just wrong. I'd be like, fuck all these people.
I suppose if you do it all the time, then you might lose your job.
Yeah, is there anyone who's just been wrong, like the worst picker of science?
But there's a thing in science called citations, right? It's how many people refer to your papers and use it in their research. And my most cited paper is about physics at the Large Hadron Collider in Geneva without a Higgs boson. So I wrote it before the Higgs particle was discovered.
You predicted. You said one day there will be a Higgs boson.
No, it was the opposite. We said, what would it look like if there wasn't one? And so we were wrong, right? There is one. So it got discovered. So you might think, well, that was useless. But actually, it's my most cited paper, because we developed some techniques in it that were useful to people, and they still use them. So it was a successful paper, even though the premise turned out to be
wrong.
Nonsense. There is a Higgs boson, so it doesn't matter.
So can you explain the Hadron Collider real quick in layman's terms? Because I just remember seeing a picture of like what looked like an MRI machine on steroids, and everyone's like, this is going to blow up the world.
Yeah, well, that was nonsense.
Did it blow up the world? You don't know. Like, what if we're at the end of time right now having this conversation?
Are you finding yourself learning something from us? Because we're kind of presenting what I would say we're smarter than the average bear, but we're very far away from like learning.
No, I don't think you thought that. I mean, so the LHC.
You paused there because you definitely are like, these guys might have actually thought it was.
No, I was going to say, because it's quite a small thing in terms of the world, right? It's a little thing. It's about 16 miles in circumference.
But you remember those articles? They're like, this is going to blow up the world.
Yeah, and actually though, so if you follow it through, so what we do, what it does is it's a big sort of circle, basically 16 miles, and we accelerate particles around it until they're going very fast, 99.99999% the speed of light. So they go around 7. I've forgotten the number now, because 11,000 times a second. I think they go around.
Holy shit!
And then we collide them together. And the reason we do that is we want to create really high energies in a very small space. because if you go back towards the Big Bang, then that we had really high energies. So we're really recreating the conditions that were present close to the Big Bang to see how the universe worked in those earliest times. That's one way of thinking about it. But actually, the energies that we collide things at are way lower than the energies that we experience every day in things called cosmic ray collisions. So there are particles coming in from the universe with energies 100,000, 10,000, way in excess of those energies, hitting the Earth all the time, and they don't do anything. Right? They don't destroy the planet. They don't cause anything strange to happen. It just doesn't happen. So we did check that.
So you actually did have to be like, hey, will this blow everything up? It doesn't take you long,
but you realize that the energies that we can create in our little machine are routinely created and exceeded by the universe. And you can have a look into the universe and you see that the universe is not somehow unstable and strange things happen at those kind of energies. We know that. So that's the answer.
So that's what you did. What did you find out?
So the answer is that physicists aren't, insane. If they got a sense that doing this experiment may cause a giant explosion or
destroy everything that we know,
then you would notice. You wouldn't do it.
Right, right.
So the energy is it's like a mosquito just hitting you in the face. It's a tiny amount of energy actually, because these are really tiny particles that we're colliding together. It's just that in this subatomic piece of space inside these giant detectors that we have, we create these conditions that are really violent, but it's in a tiny amount of space. The total energy is quite an amazing figure. So the beams of particles are smaller than a hair, than a human hair, right? It's in diameter when we focus them down to collide them, and they carry the energy of an aircraft carrier traveling at about 40 miles an hour or something like that.
Wow.
So they're incredible energies, but in tiny spaces. And even then, an aircraft carrier going at 40 miles an hour, you can drive that into a wall and it doesn't destroy the world.
Right. And
so there's not that much energy in itself.
Yeah. So what was the big takeaway from that entire experiment?
Well, it's still running.
Okay.
So we're learning more and more about the way the universe works.
Got it.
No, but we did discover the Higgs particle.
Okay.
You found God.
What is that?
The God particle, it got called. But it was an theory from the 1960s. The way things get mass, right? So if you think about the subatomic particles in your hand, like an electron in your finger, the way that gets mass in this theory is by interacting with this kind of stuff that permeates the universe, which is called the Higgs field. So it's literally like pulling something through treacle. That's the right word, isn't it? In US, is it treacle? Syrup, whatever you call it. Golden
syrup. Yeah.
So it's like if you pull something through treacle, through syrup, then it's hard to pull, right? It's got kind of inertia. Because it's going through this stuff. That's the way that fundamentally we think that things get mass. And so ultimately the reason why we exist, right? Because if nothing had mass, we wouldn't exist.
Right.
So it's a fundamental theory about the way subatomic particles behave.
Huh.
In the 60s, developed mathematically, and ultimately we discovered the Higgs particles, which are the things that make this
the whole thing go.
Stuff that fills the universe. So it was a remarkable discovery, and that was one of the reasons it was built.
I've got kind of a theoretical question for you. Do you think, given your background in studying physics and particles and how everything was set into motion billions and billions of years ago, does luck exist?
Well, it's a brilliant question, because there are properties of our universe, like the strength of gravity, for example, that just seem to be the way the universe is. And if you change them a bit, then you end up with no stars or no galaxies, or certainly no life. And so it's a good question. It's like, well, what does that say about our universe and the way it's configured? There are theories that say there are actually a lot of universes. So there are actually billions, trillions of universes, all with slightly different values of all these things like the strength of gravity. And so we are then, in a sense, lucky, but the better way to say it would be we live in the universe that allows us to exist. Mm-hmm. Right? But there is a sense of luck in that they all vary. So every possible combination is realized. That's called the multiverse.
Right. So if every particle that we know was expanding, beyond the speed of light, then everything that has been set in motion since that point was already determined from the energy that was used at the start of our known universe. And so do you really even have free will, or are the molecules in my brain that are firing just a result of everything that's already happened in a predetermined path before me?
Well, this is an even better question, because so one of the big problems with black holes was that initially we thought that they destroyed information. If they destroy information, then what you said, it's called determinism, doesn't apply. Because what determinism is, which is what you said, is that if you knew everything about everything, the way everything was moving around at some point in time, then you can predict what it's going to do in the future and predict what it was doing in the past. And that's what the laws of nature are like. But then if you have these things in the universe that destroy information, then you can no longer do that. So for a long time, it was thought that black holes were destroying the foundation of science in some sense, because they were stopping that from being true. Actually now, as of the last couple of years, we think we have a really good understanding of the fact that they don't do that. Remarkably, even though they're things from which nothing can escape, it seems that ultimately over long periods of time, all the information does come out again. So determinism is...
You can find that giant roadmap out there
in principle.
In principle, if you were able to establish determinism and see all the information possible, you could know whether or not you should hit on 16. Blackjack. Got it.
Yeah, in principle, it's very much in principle.
Yeah,
right. Not in practice, we've got no chance.
So along those same lines, like you study quantum physics. Quantum computing is something that I've heard about a lot recently. Mostly in kind of a fear-mongering way, where it's like quantum computers will get so strong that eventually the artificial intelligence that they'll produce they'll try to destroy itself. They'll try to destroy everything that we know. Is that something that you ever like wake up at night in a cold sweat thinking about, like, oh no, quantum computing has gone too far?
Well, I mean, it certainly hasn't yet, because they're really primitive quantum computers that we've got at the moment. But they're really interesting. And actually, not to keep talking about black holes, but the same ideas that we're understanding how the information gets out of black holes are very similar to the ideas we use in quantum computing. And in some sense, the universe is beginning to look like a giant quantum computer, right, in the way that it works. That is not to say that we live in a simulation.
That's my next question.
So it really isn't, because we just don't know enough, and it's just, to me, it's just an irrelevant question. But what is interesting is that physics has become about information in the 21st century, and so it really is the case that I'll give you this example, which no one really understands yet, because this is 2020, 2021 physics, right? But you might say, well, in that Hawking radiation that comes off the black hole and carries this information, how does it carry the information? And what we've learned from black holes is that it's called the holographic principle, right? Which is, so this room now, in a sense, it seems that everything that's going on in the room can be perfectly represented by a quantum theory that lives on the walls. So the universe appears to be, in some sense, a hologram, right? It's got a fancy name. It's called the ADS-CFT correspondence. You can look up online. But basically, we've discovered that you can characterize everything that's going on in a region of space by a theory that just lives on the edge, and the coding between the two, the sort of dictionary, as people call it, looks very much like the coding you have to use in quantum computers to write quantum algorithms and do error correction in the memory of quantum computers and stuff like that. So it's interesting that this is the lower level I was talking about of space and time, because space and time don't exist in the theory on the walls. The interior
for
of
being
the room
not a
is where space
simulation
and
guy,
time
you're
is.
sounding a lot like a simulation guy.
Well, no, they go too far, because I read there's an article in Wired, I think, the other month that said this. Someone sent it to me on Twitter, where someone was just claiming this kind of discovery is suggesting we live in a simulation. The answer is we don't really know what's going on at the moment. It's really cutting edge physics. It is interesting that there's a way of describing the way the universe works using information theory rather than what we call forces and normal physics. But that's all it is. It's really interesting. We don't really understand what's going on at the moment. And then I tend to stop at that point.
Yeah.
My instinct is to go, by we, I mean the greatest physicists in the world don't really have a picture of this. It's interesting stuff. And then you just put a stop. You go, all right, stop now.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go, therefore. There's a teenager in an extra dimension with a really powerful computer who's coded us all in, and we're version 18,000.6 of The Sims. That seems to me to be quite elite.
Right. That's true.
The
That's
smarter
fair.
somebody is, the more likely they are to say, like, I don't get it.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it's like saying, are we alone in the universe? Are we alone in the Milky Way? At the moment, we don't know.
Yeah.
That's why we've got a rover on the surface of Mars as we speak, taking samples in an ancient river delta. It's called the Perseverance rover. It's going to send the samples back, and we're going to analyze them. And the reason we're doing that is because we don't know whether there's life on Mars or not.
Right.
So that's it. So at the moment,
I mean, this stuff is fascinating to me. So you got to go in a second. I have one last question, but I do have to say, I read an article where you were quoted as saying you were in a meeting once. It might have been with politicians, I don't know, but you basically left the meeting and you said that they didn't like you because you were intellectually aggressive. Yeah. And I just thought that was like the funniest way to put that, like I was just too smart and they just didn't want to hear it.
I heard that
intellectually aggressive.
I wasn't. All I'd said is like, you
trying to fight, bro? You trying to fight?
All I'd said is they probably asked something, and I just said, well, no.
Yeah, right.
Like we said, is the sun cold? No, it isn't.
Yeah, right. It's like, I know. What do you?
That's it.
You want to take this outside?
It's like, well, some people think it is. Well,
okay.
I don't care.
Yeah,
intellectually aggressive at the edge of knowledge.
Yes, that's great.
You make being a scientist sound pretty fucking metal.
Yeah, I liked it. I saw the quote and I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. But yeah, my last question. So it's the Roback question. Take 20% off your first purchase. RHOBACK.com. Use code TAKE for 20% off your first purchase. Go to Roback. Great Q-Zips hoodies. We have one for you if you want to wear it. Great gear. So you have to go in a few minutes, but Billy, who's been sitting here and been doing a great job of being quiet because I could see his face. He wanted to hop in many times, but now this is the Roback question is essentially Billy in we have like 6-7 more minutes. It's yours. The floor is yours. This is really a meeting between two intellectual titans because every time we talk about conspiracy theories, we're literally talking about him.
And we've already agreed to box.
Right.
My question is, sorry if I'm mispronouncing some of these words. I've only read them. I had a lot of questions about the Hadron Collider and the CERN Center, and we covered a lot of that earlier. But I gotta ask, what was up with that hoax video that came out in 2016? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
There was a video that was claimed to be from the CERN Center with a statue of Shiva, the Hindu god.
There is a statue of Shiva there.
Yeah, with a bunch of people crowding around in robes, and apparently some of the scientists there did a prank on everyone who thought it was a conspiracy by like staging like a weird ritual before. Do you know anything about this?
I didn't know, but it sounds quite plausible because we like, in English, in the UK we say in English. I know you speak English as well. In the UK we say taking the piss, right? So scientists like to take the piss.
So that was just
they're trolling. I wouldn't be surprised.
That was like Monty Python, like British humor. Right.
I think, I'm going to tell you a story. I know we only have 7 minutes left, but my Python story is that Eric Idle, when they did the live shows in London, Eric Idle called me and said, do you know Stephen Hawking? And I said, yeah, I sort of know Stephen a bit. And he said, will you invite him to do a sketch? And so I sent him an email, and Stephen responded really quickly and said, yeah. And the sketch was that because I've been arguing with Eric about the Galaxy song, which I said was inaccurate because it's got all sorts of numbers in it, which we've now shown to be, we've got better numbers, right? So I said the Galaxy song is all wrong. And so I was explaining this on the banks of the river. And then, so we went down to Stephen's office and we talked to him all day. And the idea was I'd be saying after the Galaxy song in the live shows, I'd be saying, well, it's just wrong. It's nonsense. It's just, you should know the Earth, the Earth doesn't orbit the sun in a circle. It goes in an ellipse and all these things. And as I'm saying that, Stephen comes flying up in his wheelchair and knocks me to the ground and says, I think you're being pedantic. And then he starts singing the Galaxy song. So we did it. So we filmed it and did the whole thing for the Monty Python Live. And then at the end, I was leaving after the whole day with Stephen Hawking. And Eric said to me, we kind of wasted that, didn't we? Because we just spent the whole day messing about. We didn't ask him anything about, the cosmos or the universe, a whole day. Yeah. And we just did a silly sketch. And it was the most Python-esque thing you can possibly imagine doing, wasting your whole day alone with Stephen Hawking just to get him to knock me over and say one line.
I love that.
Anyway.
Awesome.
All right, you got one more?
When you were talking about information being lost in the black hole, were you saying, like, even though the book contains information, like you may read a book and know a story or know a concept, are you saying that when the book goes in the black hole, that concept that we experience in our brains then goes into the black hole with it?
No, it's you're just saying that if you burn a book, then in principle, it goes back to what you said about determinism, then you could, if you collect everything that came off, all the ashes and all the gas and everything, if you could measure it all perfectly, then you could reconstruct the book. So you literally reconstruct the information in the book. And it seems now that's what happens in black holes. So you throw the book in, and then at some point in the distant future, you could collect all the Hawking radiation that comes off and reconstruct the book.
That was a great way of explaining it, because now I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so the information as in the information of the construct, not like actual information.
Well, it is everything. I mean, it is everything. So if you went into the black hole, then it would be that if you some sufficiently clever, super advanced civilization, if they could collect all the Hawking radiation and put it into some quantum computer, would actually reconstruct you. I mean,
that would be such a bummer
level
for the aliens if they're like,
If
let's
that's what they've
reconstruct
done.
this radiation, then just Billy showed up.
I mean,
Like,
I'd have
what's
a
up,
blast.
bro? Have we ordered dinner yet?
Yeah, the sort of billion-year project that they've done, put all their effort into it, and built a quantum
Yeah, they're like,
computer.
oh, it's this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, we appreciate it so much, Brian. This has been awesome. You're welcome back anytime you're around or want to come on, because this has been truly like something totally different.
Yeah,
and a lot of fun.
I've
So
got a
we
million
appreciate it.
million more questions
Yeah.
I could ask you right now.
So you're always welcome back on.
I'll come straight back. I did it to someone the other week, actually. I'll tell you what it was. I'm going to name drop. Can I name drop? It was Conan, right? And I was at a party a few months ago, and he was there, and he said that. He said, "Oh, you should come on the podcast." And I said, "Okay, I'll come on Monday." And he went, "No, you're not. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say my people will talk to your people, and that's not how this business works." And I said, "No, I'm only here till Monday." So
Yeah.
so I did. So I went. So he managed to arrange it so I could go on Monday. So
yeah,
so
nice.
don't invite me back
No,
unless
no,
you really
no,
mean,
we-
because I will say, okay, well I'll come.
Well, we
back
do
then.
it reverse.
I've got my diary now.
Yeah,
and
we do it reverse. When someone comes on once, they're a recurring guest, and so then they have to come on anytime we ask.
Right.
So we have you
That's-
now contractually. We might call you tomorrow.
I signed it. Okay,
Yeah.
No, it'd be a
So we
pleasure.
reverse that on you.
Get rid of the middleman, and
Yeah.
we'll just give you our number,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we're just going to text
Yeah,
you
just
and be
be
like,
like,
"Hey, Brian, you in town?
Yeah.
Come shoot the shit."
But yes,
totally
this has
up
been
for that.
awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Brian Cox is brought to you by Wood. Wood is our men's grooming line, offering products across hair, body, beard, and shave. Wood works and smells as good as it looks. Who here on Part of My Take do you think is looks like they smell the best? I think Bubba looks like he's always got some sort of fancy cologne on.
I'd say Jake.
Jake's
Jake's
looks,
like the most well put together. Probably.
Jake, our clean, smooth boy.
Yeah.
He only uses Wood.
I think as a podcast, we smell good.
Yeah, I don't think there's a stinky person. I look like I'm
just
stinky.
by visual, but by like we do, but
Visually,
our
we do
aesthetic
not.
is
Yeah.
not
Yeah, no, I
smelling good.
Yeah, we're sloppy.
If you look at us, you're like, that. I bet that room smells awful.
Yes.
Yeah,
when we
correct.
record, but I think it smells pretty good. But Jake, he is clearly the best smelling of the bunch. He smells like fresh tracks. That's right. It's oak moss and pink pepper. That's Jake's signature smell. The product I use the most is their body wash and their deodorant. Their deodorant is awesome. They also have beard conditioner, oil, shave cream, facial cleanser, face scrub. It's nice to have every single product in your bathroom be the same smell and by the same brand. It just looks cool. And all products are $15 at less. You can get them at your local CVS. Or you can shop them at getwood.com. That's GETWOULD.com. Or, again, at your local CVS.
Okay, let's wrap up. We got Fyre Fest of the week. Send everyone on their way for a nice weekend. Weather's getting nice. Playoffs, everything.
Playoffs.
Hank.
I don't have much. Pretty normal week for me.
Good. Just everything.
A lot of drama.
No, yeah, just,
Everything's smooth.
Yeah, just corporate life. Just did a bunch of meetings. Nothing crazy.
It does suck that I can't make fun of you for waking up late anymore because I know you're up all the time now.
Yeah, I'm getting up, working out in the morning.
Yeah.
Damn.
I tried to call Hank the other day. He's like, I'm at the gym. Fuck.
That's sick.
I was trying to text on my Apple. I mean, I'm an Apple Watch guy now too.
Yeah. It is nice being Apple Watch guys.
Have you considered being a briefcase guy?
I don't know.
That would be cool.
Leo, Mr. Ice. That'd be a Mr. Ice move. It's a power move.
Cool.
I think it's always a power if you handcuff yourself to a briefcase.
Well, Mr. Ice walks around with a briefcase that has it's like the dodgeball scene where he opens the briefcase and there's just one stack of bills in it.
Yeah.
Like he carries a briefcase around with like
for
$5,000.
What a wallet could easily handle. Yes.
Yeah.
No, but yesterday this is a literal Fyre Fest. I was walking to the train station to the path and I had my AirPods in and a fire truck, literal fire. It was like a EMT. It looked like an ambulance, but it was a fire, NYPD vehicle. Billy knows what I'm talking about. Had its sirens on behind me, and I kind of was like not paying attention. And then a lady tapped me and was like, "Hey!" And I took my headphones out, and she points to the fire truck, and it was an EMT like screaming my name on 6th Avenue, being like, "Hank, Team Hank," with his buzzers on, and everyone was just looking at me like, "What is going on?" He's like, "Come here." It was a scene, and I was just like, "This is a Fyre Fest." This is just, I have the fire department tracking me down to like scream my name. It was a lot.
But this has to be your number one loved week of all time.
Yeah, I will say, it is nice. Like, it's one of those things where if it was up to me, none of this ever would have happened.
Agreed.
Although if the Tom Brady thing, whatever.
Brady, yeah.
But it is nice, getting the support from your friends and people. Like, obviously, everyone struggles with self-confidence issues, so knowing that you have that love and support from everyone is nice, and I appreciate everyone that reached out.
You basically
Billy's laughing at you, right? What are you
I'm laughing because I saw online someone was like, someone thought it wasn't Hank but Frank they were talking about. So they're like, this guy. It was a joke in my head. It made more sense.
Okay. Sounded sick. We should get a storyboard, maybe.
I would love to be in Billy's head.
Yeah. Nah, it's a scary place.
Seems awesome.
Scary
actually.
place. Yeah, you basically got eulogized without dying.
Yeah.
Like everyone, like that
it was
would have been
like the Tom Brady thing was like basically a Make-A-Wish situation. I just like my girlfriend started dating someone else. My ex-girlfriend started dating someone else.
Yeah.
You know what? There actually should be a Make-A-Wish program, not for people that are sick or dying, but for people that are just like down. Just like, so if you get broken up with, there should be a website like a Cameo for celebrities just to be like, "Hey, I want to give you a pep talk. You look great. Keep hitting the gym. Everyone loves you."
I mean, if I was really going to get into it, I would say that, and this happened when we broke up too, where I was like, I don't want to like see shit, and then I get all these people, and they're in good nature, they mean well, but they reach out to me with their stories, and it just depresses me even more.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, that's brutal. Like, I don't feel as bad as you're describing,
Right.
and like what your situation sounds way worse than what I'm going through, but it's just like, that sucks. And then I get a bunch of those messages because they're like trying to relate and be like, "Yeah, man, this happened to me too, blah, blah, blah." And I'm just like, that's super depressing. Like, don't want to read that. I want to respond and be like, "Yeah, let's get through this together, bro." So if you have reached out and I haven't responded, that's why.
Yeah.
All right.
But appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone that reached out. Feels
Team
good.
Hank for life.
Yeah.
We love you, Hank.
Love you guys too.
Yeah. PFT?
Well, really, my Fyre Fest is that I'm deathly fearing the fact that Jake is going to just be laughing in my face in my own hometown.
Rubbing his titties in your face.
Rubbing my titties in my face.
It's going to happen.
And that it's going to be
No,
like...
he's
going to be motorboating
He's
you.
going to motorboat.
Yeah.
He's going to titty fuck you.
It's going to be like, yeah. It's going to be like getting pegged by Lisa Simpson.
Yeah, he's going to get you. Yeah, it is. It is the scariest person to go to a game when your team can be eliminated in his camp.
Yeah, he's like that movie The Ring when Jake shows up next to you shaking your hand being like, "I'm just rooting for a good game for both teams." It's like, I'm going to die.
Because I'm not the biggest Panther fan. I'm supporting the hometown team.
He's already doing it.
I know.
This is the
I know.
worst. This is the
so
worst.
I know. I hate it.
This is the worst.
Because
nothing
everything
to
that
lose.
Jake says, he thinks he's being super
Yes.
polite, and he is being super polite
It just makes
in
it
his
so
own
much
brain.
worse.
But it is. I want you to hate me.
That's the thing. If the
Hate me.
Panthers lose the series, I'll be like, all right.
Stop.
If the
Stop.
Cavs lose the
Exactly.
series,
Stop.
yeah.
Jake, stop.
But I'm being dead serious.
I know.
Like, I'm not trying to
No,
troll
You're
you.
still
we
making
know.
it worse.
We know.
One other, I'll say this. I mentioned this in the group text, but a post mostly Fyre Fest that like I was kind of laughing about, and like post mostly like the Best in the Office clip, like when that happened, because I think it was the anniversary this week or something. That was like also the week that me and Rhea basically broke up privately. Like we didn't say anything for a little while.
Oh.
So that happened, and then the Best in the Office thing happened, and I was just getting destroyed. So I was like, I was in a bad spot, and everyone was like, "Oh, you're in a bad spot because of Jake like shitting down your throat, and I was like, not only that, but and I couldn't even talk about it. So that was like
that also is like,
for context, that was a bad week for me.
There are some people who are like, oh, Big Cat, you went too hard, and it's like, but I also am very close to Hank, and I know he was down bad for a while. Like it was, it wasn't fun. No breakups are ever fun,
right?
Ever,
right?
No matter what, they just aren't.
I just remembered my other part of that same Fyre Fest is that Marlins man is also actively trolling.
Oh, he keeps
I'm being actively engaged from all angles by Marlins man.
Yeah.
He keeps sending memes to people close to me.
He's reversing your memes.
Yeah, he's texting me reverse memes and being like, please send a PFT.
Yeah, it's the meme that I put out of Kodak Black doggy styling that chick at a Panthers game where I put caps on Kodak Black and then Panthers on the poor girl. And then he's just reversing it, creating the meme to be about me and the Capitals, and then texting it to the people I'm closest with, asking them to share it to me.
Correct.
He has not contacted my mom. No, not her.
Brutal. All right, my Fyre Fest is I just keep losing my voice. I got to do something about it. I gotta start treating my voice like a quarterback treats his arm.
Or like Adele treats her voice.
Yeah.
Got to start drinking tea and honey.
So the travel, the lack of sleep, 2 kids, all this stuff. I need to like just start being like, all right, my voice is going. Stop talking. Like, don't, rest it. So I got to load management.
Pitch count.
Yeah. I did. I was whispering last night, and my son was like, why? Like, he started whispering back, but it was very bizarre.
How many words per day do you think you speak?
It's great because I was thinking about it. I was like, I'm losing my voice. I lost my voice this week, and I was thinking about it because it makes sense. Red Eye, Vegas, doing the live 5-hour broadcast, all that. And yeah, when you add it all up, it's like, oh shit, like show after show after show. So I got to just do a better job, and I'm going to do it. I know I've said this before, but I'm going to do it. Sorry to everyone who had to listen to me sound like I was dying on Wednesday's show.
So on Monday, I got back to the East Coast from Vegas at 7 a.m. I was running on about 3 hours sleep.
How was your Saturday?
Saturday was sick, dude. So we went to the. I
know.
started a blackjack.
It was a callback.
Oh, that's like a normal question.
No, not on a Tuesday. Not on a Tuesday.
Well, it's Thursday.
Not on a Tuesday.
I had a great Saturday. Usually when the fun stuff
happens. Not on a Tuesday. How was your Saturday?
I love that Billy actually it's totally normal and acceptable for him in his life to go around all week, every day that's not Saturday, just talk about what he did on his last Saturday.
Saturdays are the best day.
Yeah.
That's when you really have enough time to go do cool shit
with the boys.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I got back, and I was like,
I kind of would take Fridays over Saturdays, but that's just me.
I like Friday nights.
You have a different Friday.
Yeah. We have to work on Sundays, and Fridays there's no better feeling than Friday after lunch. It feels like the weekend is forever.
But you can get up to excursions on Saturday.
You can go for adventures on Saturdays. Yeah. Day trips.
Yeah.
I'm also counting this as someone who has 2 children, so Saturdays are a lot for me.
Okay.
Now, but yeah.
I think even in general.
Well, how was your Saturday?
What?
How was your Saturday?
The upcoming one?
Last one.
It was fine. We did the Canelo fight. You were with me the whole time.
Yeah, it was a good Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Total excursion. Totally normal question. So I got back, and I was like...
we were with each other.
I was beat up from Vegas, and I was like, I got to do something to correct this. So I decided to drop myself off about 6 miles from my house and just was like, you got to get to your house. And I just literally had an exorcism running the 6 miles.
With your bags?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, this was in the afternoon after I came in.
Oh, so not your bags.
Well, I had one backpack.
Backpack.
Yeah, so then I was forcing myself to exercise.
So you just walked home?
No, I ran. Excursion. And it was just like an exercism.
Over the river?
I dropped myself off somewhere over the river, and then I ran 5 miles.
I like that.
So you just went for a run. You just decided to do it in your pants and a backpack.
How are you not talking about your pants, by the way?
Yeah.
How is this not your Fyre Fest?
My pants?
You just keep getting them ripped off.
Yeah, well, my pants
we keep
falling apart.
You, bro.
Yeah. I'm going to get one of these days, I'm going to get one of you guys with the pants.
No, you're not. I highly doubt that.
Oh, yeah?
I think we were talking about this today because everyone has to come in. Guests need to start ripping your pants. It needs to be your version of Hot Ones.
I'm going to start ripping other people's pants.
Your Hot Ones is going to be somebody comes up to you like a celebrity, rips your pants off without you knowing, and then you just do a 3-second interview where you just react to them taking your pants off.
Well, it's Billy knows.
What the fuck, dude? How was your Saturday?
It's the ultimate catch-22
because it's that'll be the show title.
No,
what the fuck, dude?
How was your
Saturday? To hit your monthly quota for numbers, it's you've made your job so much easier. but the flip side is you
have
to
no pants.
Yeah, you have to get your pants.
You hit all your TikTok goals, but you have no pants.
I also like how Billy just treats, like when he's bored, he treats the entire world like an escape room. He's like, I dropped myself off like far away from my house.
Yeah.
And then I had to find my bed.
It forced me to exercise, and literally
you
I
could
got
have just
everything
gone
out.
for a run.
Right, but that's so hard mentally. I had to drop myself off somewhere
That's
and be
true.
like, you have to get home.
I actually understand that.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like you can't just run 6 miles on a treadmill or like around your neighborhood. You got to just drop yourself off somewhere, and it's like you got to get back. You have no other like choice.
I was going to go to the gym after the Celtics game, and then they lost, and I was like, I'm not going now.
But if you had just
and that doesn't even make sense. But like,
No, it makes
when
perfect
when
sense.
you're home, you find any reason to not.
Or if
do
you
it.
just like drop yourself off 6 miles from your home.
Wait,
you're gonna
how'd
make
you
your way
get the
back.
car back?
What do you mean?
How'd you get back to the car?
Oh no, he
it's
took
still
an
there.
Uber.
No,
took
I
an
drove
Uber?
it.
Dropped off in Hoboken and ran home.
I drove it to a place.
He took an Uber.
Wait, I
he
didn't
just
take
picked
an
a
Uber.
random
I
address
didn't
and
have
Uber.
a car.
Gotcha.
Did you have?
Gotcha.
No, yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, Jake. I love you, Billy.
So 2 elevators in my building. One was out. I'm on the 16th floor. Takes a while to go down. At the end of the day, I'm stuck with 5 people and 3 dogs.
Oh no!
I
In
was
the
like,
elevator?
Yeah.
Should've
I'm
Billy did.
allergic
You
to
should've-
dogs for context.
You
so,
should have
like,
just gone on the stairs.
down 16.
Force yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I could have.
It'd be a real shame,
It was
Jake,
uncomfortable.
if we got a special exclusive meet and greet with the Capitals dog mascot, Biscuit. A real shame.
Well, you guys already tried to kill me once this month.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
It's true.
that's it.
That's actually very true.
How are you
Yeah.
going through withdrawals? Are you clean
Nope.
now? No
Never
shakes?
again.
Never again? I mean, there's a lot of sports that have to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
What about if your
We're
beloved?
definitely going to do a Wampus Cat bet again.
There'd be other punishments.
Would you do a Wampus Cat if it meant that your beloved Panthers won the Stanley Cup?
No.
See, this sucks. This sucks for me. What about Syracuse? What if Jim Boeheim got
He's
one
literally
last
going to
chip?
win and then apologize.
Jim
to his
Boeheim's
face.
last drive. All right, let's do numbers.
Hank,
Get
you're
out
right.
of
I'm
here.
not surprised by
He's
what?
gonna
I'm
win.
not
He's gonna
surprised
be
by
like
those anymore.
He's gonna be like, I'm really sorry, PFT. I know that you wanted this. It meant a lot to you. I hate that we did it. I'm sorry.
If I could
feel
give this
really
win
bad.
back, I
Yeah.
would do it. I wish you could feel this win, not me.
I wish I'd lost.
Would you Wampus Cat for a broadcasting primetime gig?
Yes.
Whoa.
Oh,
There it
There it
is.
is.
Nice,
Yep.
Billy. Got him.
That's
Gauntlet
smart.
throw
Yep.
down.
All right, 22.
9.
69.
25.
61.
Turn on.
It's on.
Now it is. Hank, you still haven't gotten this? Ever? $13.
Oh, Friday the 13th.
13. Is that?
Whoa.
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 Wait, tomorrow the 13th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fucking witch, bro.
Whoa.
Love you guys.
Tortoises hate the color black.
Coming for your lover, babe. Shine to remember. Be shy